Too loud.
We shouldn't be interrupting each other to begin with. But we're definitely going to talk over each other. Hey, welcome. This is how we're opening. This was supposed to be a live stream, and that didn't happen. The other host usually takes care of all the live stream stuff, and his computer is very much more set up to it. We spent about an hour and a half trying to get everything set up this morning, and it didn't work. So you're getting an audio file today. Hi, it's me and the missus.
Hi.
Usually
my name is Liz. Not Mrs.
She apparently wants her government name instead of the missus. That's fine, I guess. You usually hear her in our intros.
This week on...
Oh, yeah? Forgot the name.
No, I didn't. I forgot what my voice sounds like usually. Anyways. Hello. Happy to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
So we, again, I mentioned this on the last episode that we were going to do a live stream for The Ring because tomorrow The Ring comes out. Why are you looking at me like that?
Whoa, this is like going up today?
That was supposed to be a live stream. So this episode is going to be extremely unedited because I don't have the time to edit it to release it today because it should be active right now.
Sick.
So don't say anything you're going to regret.
Fingers crossed.
We're talking about The Ring, the book by Koji Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
We have, obviously, the English translated version. It's bad.
Yeah, Robert Romer and Glenn Wally. No bueno, my guy.
To be fair, we believe they did a direct translation instead of, like, this is what it means translation. Like, they did, these are what the words means, not what it should be feeling. And what was the start of the book? It's comparing lights of a skyscraper to lightning bugs. And the way it's worded is... I wish I wrote it down. I didn't write down. I did not write down my notes on what it was. But it just... The wording is really bad.
Yeah, I struggled a lot at first because I was trying to figure out if it was just the style of writing that I didn't enjoy or the translation that I didn't enjoy. You can grab your notes.
I can't. You grab the book, but not my notebook.
But you put them in your phone.
I put half of them in my phone and half in a notebook.
Well, half on your phone is gonna be good enough.
You're gonna keep talking and I'm gonna grab my notebook.
Oh, okay. Well, so I did think that the writing style was not my favorite. But now I'm kind of wondering, as I read through the book, I'm kind of wondering if it's just maybe it's translated just poorly. Because there's a lot of phrasing and like words that just don't make a whole lot of sense in general. When it comes to things and, like, sentence structures and all of that, it does seem very much like a plug-and-play one-to-one translation with some editing, you know?
And I fully agree, but I also kind of have to be devil's advocate here, and he is compared to Stephen King. He's the Stephen King of Japan, and we don't like Stephen King's writing either. Yeah, no, and that's in English.
That's fair. That's fair. Nothing against our Stephen King fans. He's a wordy... He
needs an editor. His editor looks at his writing and says, yeah, it's Stephen King, it's fine, and doesn't, like, look at what it was actually written, and is like, we don't need 3 pages of description about this bath right now. Yeah. That's not helpful anywhere.
No. Yeah, agree. 100% agree.
We might also just be biased because we don't like this style of writing.
Yeah, that could definitely be it. But, I will tell you, overarching opinion... after I finished it, the whole book, I went, and then I finished it, and I was like, oh, I actually liked it.
Yeah, no, it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's a really big slow burn. If you've seen the movie, you haven't seen the movie, so, at all, right? Or you haven't seen it since you were little?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years. Okay. Long
and
time.
And you've only seen the American version, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we cover the American version tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about it. They gender swap. So in the book, it's a man, a wife, and a daughter. In the English and Japanese movies, it's a wife, an ex-husband, and a son.
Oh.
I don't know why they have to split them up. I believe in the Japanese version they're also split up, but in the English version, they weren't even ever married. They just, like, were dating, had a kid, and then it's not working out.
Hmm.
And instead of Ryuji, it's her son, who's smart as fuck.
Honestly, okay, so I got some thoughts. Are we doing this as an overarching, or you want us to go step by step?
We'll cover it like we would one of the movies, and let's go step by step. So we talked about it being a slow burn.
Yep.
It opens. I did chronologically. I wrote down the dates. I did chronologically, obviously, because that's how the book is written.
Oh, I did pages, so that's chill.
Okay, perfect. This works. So it starts off in September 5th. Mm-hmm. Is our starting date of
the year?
The year? Oh, 1990. The book is written in 1990.
1990.
No, I was looking at you because I looked like you wanted to jump in.
Oh, no.
Me and Garrett already have like a report, and we have to directly. We're recording off of one microphone right now, so we're staring into each other's eyes doing this, and it's really weird.
It's very intimate.
You're my wife, and this is weirdly intimate. All right, me and Garrett have 15 feet of space between us, and we don't stare at each other. He stares out the window, and I stare at his computer.
Yeah, no.
So we're getting into a groove, all right, guys? Well, it starts off with a girl home alone. Right?
Mm-hmm. Tomoko
Oishi, sorry. You can jump in anytime here. I gotta read my notes.
Oh, okay, yeah, so first and foremost, I will say not super into the, just a heads up if you haven't read the book, it's very, what's the word I'm looking for that's not...
Sexist?
Yes, sexist. Sure, it's sexist. It's oddly descriptive in weird ways.
In a very sexualizing way to every female character in the book.
Every female character. Except for his wife.
Except his wife. Oh my god. Okay, so the book is also written in about, like, third-person omniscient. So we're kind of jumping around from character to character, getting their inner dialogue and those kinds of things. So we start off on Tomoko, and we get Tomoko's POV of it being really hot, and she's really sweaty, and she wanted to do more this summer, and just being very sweaty.
Yeah. Attempting to get ready. It's her last summer before, it's like the last summer of high school. She's getting ready to go into her last year.
And she put off all of her homework, and it sucks.
Yeah, she put off all of her homework, so now she's stuck doing it, and goes downstairs and she's reminiscing about the summer that she just had with her friends and the last thing that they did, and she starts to feel a little nervous. And I will say my initial thought on that was, because Tomoko's talking about how her friend Suzuki, it was his idea, and whatever they did definitely is going to come back to haunt them. In this case, quite literally, because
it's the ring.
It's the ring. But my first thought, I was like, teenagers and summer break and doing something they probably regret. I was just assuming they murdered somebody out the gate. I
know what you did last summer type style.
Exactly. Like, because I know a basis of the ring, right? I know there's a dead girl, and I know she wants revenge. And I was like, oh, shit, these, like, kids bullied the shit out of this girl and killed her. And I know there's a well.
Okay.
There's a girl, revenge, and well. That's all I got.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, shit, these kids are the ones that killed her. And, like, threw in the well, whether they were bullying her and things went too far, or, like...
Drunken night,
teenage
anything.
Shenanigans.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, fuck. This is teenage girl revenge. And then it's literally, that's it. That's all we get for Tomoko.
Yeah.
It was just her and her last night of summer, and then her dying.
Did they explain her death?
No, not from her point of view.
Or-
She just gets scared, and then
The phone rings, right?
the phone rings, and that's it.
Okay. It's kind of forgettable. These first two chunks are forgettable because we get Tomoko, who then we never get her POV again, and then the next person is Kimura, who is a taxi driver.
Oh, I honestly, my favorite character.
Yeah, no, that's super fair. He's a bit of an asshole, not gonna lie. But I understand why he's your favorite character.
He's a taxi driver. Of course he's a bit of an asshole. They got places to be and business to do. But, like, yeah, no. Favorite character.
So he's a taxi driver. It's getting towards the end of his shift. He's at a stoplight, and this kid on a motorcycle pulls up between him and the sidewalk, blocking his door, and he was trying to get a last fare for the night. And he's just bitching about, oh, kids these days, and then, like, a beautiful woman walks by, and the biker looks, but then doesn't follow. He like, follows his gaze. He's got a helmet on, so he's following the helmet, right? And he's like, oh, he didn't watch the woman walk all the way down the street. What's he looking at instead? And then homie falls into the cab and falls to the ground, and the cab guy is just like, well, fuck, this sucks. I gotta deal with insurance now. I just wanted to go home. These fucking kids.
Yeah, because he thought the kid just fell off his bike.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, he thought he got distracted and fell off his bike, and he's like, God damn it, he dented my cab. And then the kid, he gets out of the car, and the kid's tweaking out on the ground. I immediately know it's Suzuki, right?
You just guess.
You'd guess. You know.
Because he says he's like a prep school kid.
Yeah, he's a prep school kid. He's mentioned he looks the same age as Tomoko. And I was like, all right, this is Suzuki. We already got that in the bag. But he's like seizing on the ground.
He's pulling at his helmet.
And trying to get his helmet off. And the taxi driver is freaking out.
No. He doesn't freak out first. He looks at his cab and he's like, damn, I'm gonna make this kid pay for it. He dented and scratched my cab. What is he doing? And then he like looks at him again and he's like, oh wait. Oh no, this is bad.
After he realizes that the kid is like something's wrong. He flips up the visor. I'm pretty sure, because he can't.
He doesn't. Suichi is pulling at his helmet, but it is buckled. And instead of pulling at the buckle, he's pulling at the helmet itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he does flip up, he ends up taking the helmet off though at some point, and the kid is like choking on his own tongue is pretty much the way to describe it. It's like his eyes are bulged and he's choking and there's nothing there. And so the guy is like, oh fuck, and it's 1990, he doesn't have a cell phone. He's gotta go find a phone booth, and he runs over to a phone booth to call an ambulance, and then in his head he's like, I'm gonna be blamed for this, like somehow I'm the reason he hit my cab, I'm the one in the car, he's the one in the motorcycle, this is gonna be my fault somehow. He still called. I didn't think he called an ambulance at first. With the way it was written.
Yeah, no, but that's honestly why I enjoyed him so much, is because he was like, he's like, I'm calling an ambulance for this kid. Nonetheless, right? I'm gonna call somebody to help him. But the whole time he's like, damn, they're gonna blame me. This is gonna be bad. My life's gonna fall apart. And that's why he's my favorite character, is he's like, damn, this sucks. But he did it anyway.
He does. And so he goes back to the kid and he makes sure to say, I'm the one who called the ambulance. Me, I helped. Like he wasn't trying to skirt his responsibilities about this kid. And so he comes back and he watches the kid just finish dying. And he's pretty much holding him, watching him die. And he's like, why did I put his helmet as a pillow? That's really fucking weird.
Yeah, he's like, that can't be comfortable.
He's like, did I do that?
Yeah, and just like, I have so many thoughts on this whole thing.
Let's hear 'em.
Overarching themes throughout the book that I enjoyed a lot.
Okay.
So this is one of them that like I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm getting sentimental in my old age. But I'm like super into the idea of like, I say sentimental and then I'm gonna go, the idea of the psychology behind the survival instinct and how insane it makes you.
Yeah.
And like the things that happen when you're in panic mode, like I just think is so fascinating. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm into all these fantasy, the hero is no fear or fear but do it anyways. But like, I'm really into like, he's freaking out and then he kind of has a moment of clarity and he's like, why did I do that? Just kind of like that subconscious takeover when your forefront can't handle what's going on, you know?
Yeah, I should have put this at the top. You read a lot.
Oh,
That's why you're here.
Yeah, I'm a big reader. I do a lot of reading.
We own over 600 books because of you.
Yeah. I'm a big reader.
And you went to Barnes & Noble and bought more the other day.
I did, yes.
How many have you read this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Not as many as I would have liked. 10.
You read like 10? That's it?
Yeah. I've been on a slow burn through a lot of things. I've been reading a lot of comics.
You have.
So.
A lot of webtoons type deal.
Yeah.
That's fair. Anyways, this is why you're here. You read a lot of books. You have insight into the thing, even though this isn't your preferred genre. You usually don't read horror.
No. In fact, I don't think I've ever... No, that's a lie. I've read horror books. I don't think I've ever read an adult-ish horror. I would rate this R, so I think this is an adult.
It's written for adults.
Yeah.
We read a lot of YA.
So I think this is my first ever adult horror book.
Interesting. And you liked it?
I did. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the other ones? Because I also should have said this at the top. The Ring is a book series. There are 5 of them. I think there are 3 full-length books and 2 novellas. We own 2 of them. And I don't remember I don't think the other one I bought was actually the second one. If I remember correctly, I think I bought the third one on accident.
I think you are correct.
Or was the third the novella? Anyways, I bought not the second one, so we can't read the second one. So this is all judgment based on the first book. I don't even know if the other books include our main character, who we're getting to, who's Asakawa. Asakawa, sorry.
Who knows?
Who knows?
This is just solely The Ring. The first one. It's not even The Ring. It's just Ring.
Yeah.
Why is it called that? I spent the whole book trying to figure out why it was called that.
We will talk about it at the end.
Okay.
So the audio quality is going to be really weird. We're sharing a microphone if I didn't say that. The ring motif in the movies, right, is the ring of light from looking up from the well into the sun, right, and seeing the sunshine. So you think, and it's like the ring on the TV, of looking at the TV, and this ring of light, right? That is only for the movies. So when you go into the book, you were expecting a lot of ring motifs.
I was expecting some, yeah. Honestly, no. I think I have an idea as to why. I have 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to wait till the end.
Okay. Or you can bring it up when you think is relevant.
I will do that.
So, we get to... Oh, I can't read my own handwriting.
Well, then we get to our main guy, Asakawa. And Asakawa is a reporter, and
yes,
he just so happens to jump into the cab of our cabbie that had the kid die.
Kimura.
And this is why I think I said, like, why I'm joking. I don't really like anybody in this book. There is no attachment to anybody in this book. But the reason I said the cabbie is because he was just so real as he's driving by. He has to bring it up. He's like obsessed with this
incident.
With this incident, and he says specifically, he's just like, I'm thinking about it. I keep thinking about it. Every time I drive by here, I think about it.
What's that feeling where, like, you have to do something? Like, he has this pull anytime he passes by that if the person in the back of his cab is awake, he tells them the story. And so he tells the story to Asakawa of what happened to the boy. And he watches Asakawa's reaction in the rearview mirror, and instantly he clocks Asakawa as a journalist almost immediately. He says he's been driving a cab for like 25 years. So you can clock someone's profession fairly well, like almost bullseye every time. So he notices as soon as Asakawa's interest is piqued, and he wants to know more. So he goes into detail and does the thing, and then Asakawa starts taking notes and hands over his business card, and it's just like, he smells the story. And the cabbie has a line where he says he felt like he accomplished his mission after he told Asakawa the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he felt that sense of finishing something finally.
Yeah, now that you bring that back up, in my brain it was kind of like a less of a supernatural style thing, because now that we're here and we know the story, I'm wondering if that was more of like a compulsion based off of an outside force. I know that was the word.
That was where I was looking for,
Yeah.
was compulsion.
I'm wondering if it was a compulsion based off like some supernatural whatever is going on in this book. But in my brain it was like I need somebody else to understand. When I first read it, it was like, because it talks about he's very casual about it, like this stupid kid who knows what he was even doing, got himself killed somehow, right? Whatever he did, he died. Heart attack. They said heart failure, but he talks about like what was so interesting anyway. What was he looking at that caused that, know? And so he's like saying this like all very casually, and then you kind of get like his inner monologue of he's swallowing back bile because he's just so upset about remembering, and he's remembering the scene, and it's just like it's very like upsetting for him as a person, and he's just being very he's like, oh yeah, this kid just like died and hit my cab, and on the inside he's like, and then I held his head.
And why was it kinked at that angle?
And why was it kinked like that?
he said something. What does he say? I just had it. I lost it. Fuck. Continue. It's gone.
Okay. But yeah, no, that's why he was my favorite character, because he was just like, I don't know, for me, it was just very like, what a bro thing to do,
He's viscerally remembering the scene. That's what he says. Like, he questions himself why he's so why he's able to recall such minuscule details all of a sudden. Why is it so vivid in his head?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that also helps play into like the supernatural effect of it, right? Like, he feels this completion finally of finally telling someone and getting that feeling of like, oh, like a relief, and then recalling it so vividly.
Yeah. I do wonder what the intent on that one was. That one's a little fun little, what do you think type dealio, is it
oh, it was totally,
you think it's totally supernatural based?
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from with I think it could have been just a compulsion, as it was just due to the situation, right? Trying to get someone to understand, and then that's traumatic. And people in the 90s, no matter where you lived, did not believe in therapy. So we were just living with that PTSD of, I guess I'm just going to tell everyone until I feel okay. And so, yes, if this was any other story than this one, totally just a normal compulsion to get someone to understand. This story specifically, no, because there's too many factors that line up perfectly for everything to go the way it should.
Yeah, let me tell you. I feel a lot of ways about that.
Okay.
Okay, but anyways.
No, continue. Let's go.
No, we're gonna roll in order. So
literally the whole next part is Asakawa remembering that Tomoko was his niece.
Yeah, we find out that Tomoko was his niece.
His wife's niece. So,
yeah.
Niece-in-law. He has zero attachment to her is the thing. He was like, oh yeah, my niece died that way. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, zero attachment to really anybody. But, which in itself is another thing. But, anywho, so yeah, he's finding out that about this kid that died. And that was kind of the moment that I went, oh, this is a direct translation because it's all heart failure. Nobody calls it that anymore. Like, yeah, literally every day they do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, this is like not a great translation. But he's like thinking on it, and he's like, oh, my niece died the same way. And for some reason, he can't stop thinking about that. He can't stop making that connection. And so he does a little more research.
Yes.
And he keeps researching, trying to figure out, because they both died on the same day.
At the same time,
he finds out. I just say he finds out around the same time, because they couldn't, obviously. Oh, no, they did find out Tomoko's exact time of death because of the phone call.
Yes. So he eventually, my notes are all wonky. he eventually finds out that Tomoko died at 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Was it on the dot at 10 p.m.?
No, it's like 10:49.
10:49.
Yeah.
10:49 p.m. This kid on the motorbike dies at 10:49 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds out that two other teens.
I say it takes a while though, because he keeps looking and looking, and he's like, okay, it was just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. But something tells him to keep an eye out. He's just like keeping an eye out. And then he finds out, he reads a paper.
He remembers he read a paper.
Yeah.
Because it happened like a month ago or something at this point, that he read. There's this tiny little article in the bottom left square of the newspaper about two kids who died suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to go through the archives, find that newspaper. It's exactly where he left it. And he contacts the guy who wrote the article to get more information on it.
Yes. Who's a friend?
Yes.
It seemed an acquaintance.
Yeah, they grew, lack of a better term, grew up in the business together. They started off like on the same beat and then moved in different directions now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they are familiar with each other.
Yes.
Enough to do favors for each other.
Yes.
And
big favors.
Big favors.
This poor kid. This poor man.
And so he finds out the two other kids died on the same day, at the same time, for the same reason. Except these kids were getting...
They were about to fuck.
They were getting down with the hanky-panky.
In a car.
In the car, in an abandoned parking lot. So they literally got caught with their pants down, which is just...
That sucks.
Horrible.
Especially in like Japanese society, in my head, like that's even worse, because they're like, were they even dating? What were they even doing there? Why would they be doing that? Like, it's so bad in the book that they just like describe it as like, this is the worst thing these kids could have done ever. Yeah. And they're
on a school night.
They're like 19 and 17. It's not like they're 15. Like they're going into one. The boys are prep school students going to college or in college, and then the two girls go to a private high school where they're studying to go to college. Like they're enough of adults that you're just like, they can fuck. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, but it's just it was a school night. That's why.
Wasn't it like a Friday night?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it was a Friday or Saturday. Because they go...
Oh, yeah.
It's a Friday or Saturday,
yeah,
for sure.
You're right. But anywho. So, yeah, and so he's like, 4 kids who probably knew each other, because the 2 boys went to school together and the 2 girls went to school together. They're the same age, around the same age.
And 2 of them were dating.
So odds are these 4 kids who all died on the same day at the same time for the same reason
did something together.
They did something together. And so he's like, if I can figure out what they did, I can figure out what killed them and why. And he's subconsciously going, a virus. Which,
to start with, you think he's an idiot.
But I do kind of understand like that need for simplicity, right? Like there's something happening here. And we already have this background. He kind of goes off about how he already had a supernatural thing that he tried to go off in his report earlier in his career, and his
2
boss,
years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, and his boss just absolutely shit all over him for it.
It was bad.
It was bad.
We don't know what happened, but there was an occult boom in the newspaper industry for 2 years, or 2 years ago. There was for like 6 months or 8 months or something, and he tried to participate and got ripped a new one.
Yeah,
and to a point where his editor's like, I'm surprised he still works here.
Yeah, then it's still a thing that he gets, like, kind of, I don't want to say ridiculed for, but it does seem to also always be something in the background of like, hey, I don't really trust your instinct because of this thing that you did 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's bad enough that everyone is like, are you sure about this? Because of whatever he did.
Yeah, so already he's like, this is something, again, that compulsion of, I have to investigate this. But that need, he's like, it's not supernatural.
The need for a scientific
explanation. It's a scientific explanation. I'm doing the world a favor by figuring out what this virus is and where they got it from. Because then that means that it might be contractable, like contagious. Who knows what's happening? And so he becomes determined to figure out where these kids spent time together within the last, however long within the last month of their life, right? All the things that they did together. So
he sits on this for about a month and a half because he gets stuck doing other shit. It's not till October.
I would say it's a couple weeks. He sits on it for a couple weeks because he's finding things out slowly.
Correct. It's just he says something about like, oh, a month has gone by already, and I'm like, August, October. So a month, because he doesn't get all of this taken off until October.
Yeah.
So in August,
September,
October. I don't fucking know. He in the book he says I've been going at this for a month.
Yeah,
but he starts everything on October 10th. They died on the 5th.
Yeah.
So I guess technically it's a month, but he just makes it sound like it's such a long time.
Yeah, no.
He convinces his wife. This man.
This is on being a reporter. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it, right? He's a reporter. Use the resources you have.
He's an asshole, though. So he tells his wife, hey, let's go see your grieving sister. That would be nice, right? And then she finds out, what's Shizu?
Shizu, his wife.
Shizuko.
Mm-hmm.
Shizuko. No, that's wrong. Shizuku is another person. Shizu. Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't make that connection. Shizu is his wife's names, and then Shizuko is Sadako's mom's name.
Oh, that's fun.
There's probably nothing there. That's just, it's like having two people named Lisa in your book. It's just like, why would you do that? You can choose any name. I know they're two separate names, but it's just really close.
That has to be what they mean.
Well, we know Shizu means quiet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This motherfucker. All right, so they get to Shizu's sister's house. They talk, and they're there for a while. Shizu finds out that her parents come like every weekend to check on their daughter and also grieve the loss of their grandchild and blah, blah, blah. It's getting late enough that the grandparents have left. And Shizu's like, yeah, we should also go. Like, why the hell are we here? In her head, she's like, my husband hates all of this. Why are we here? I'm surprised he even wanted to come. And she looks over at their daughter, Yoko, who's like, baby, a toddler, can't even speak. Oh, she babbles. And is like, yeah, we should get going home too. And he's like, nah, she needs to sleep and I don't want to take her on the train. Like, just lay her down upstairs and we'll stay for a little longer. And she, in her head, is just like rapid fire being like, she's to sleep for like 2 hours. If we wake her up any earlier than that, she'll be terrible. But my husband also hates being embarrassed on the train, and it's better to not fuck with his masculinity. So I guess we're staying for 2 hours. What are we even going to do for 2 more hours?
Mm-hmm.
He then offers to go put Yoko down, go put her to bed. And she's like, what the hell has gotten into you? Literally asks him, are you okay? What is going on? I hope it stays, whatever this is. Goes to put Yoko down. Obviously, it is a ruse to look through Tomoko's room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He ends up finding a membership card to Hanako?
I don't remember what it's called.
Pacific Resort Land. It's a resort.
Yeah, it's a membership card to a resort.
Yes. And he's like, why is this still here? If Tomoko borrowed this from a friend, surely they would call the membership fees alone are insane.
Oh, yeah, because it has somebody else's name on it.
Yeah,
Nanayama? Yeah.
Nonoyama, I believe.
Yeah, but it has somebody else's name on it. So he's like, oh, if I were to lend somebody this card, this is an expensive little card here, I'd want it back.
But no one has called.
But no one's called asking for it. So obviously the person didn't lend it to Tomoko. Tomoko ended up with it.
So who gave it to Tomoko? And so he goes through that whole thing. And then does he ask about Tomoko at all?
Not really, because this is the part where I was like, okay, I can't get behind, right? But like, I understand this idea of men do the work and women take care of the household, blah, 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 especially like, this is the 90s, whatever. This is the part that got me. He spends zero time worried about how Tomoko's mom is taking it. She's taking care of, obviously she's hosting
Mm-hmm.
her parents and now her sister and her sister's husband and their toddler. So she's like in go mode of like taking care of things while there are guests
Oh,
over.
that's right.
And so he's like, oh, hey, did Tomoko go here? And she's like, no. And he's like, you're right. Why would a teenager who's supposed to be studying tell their parents that they're blowing off studying to go hang out in a resort with their friends? Okay, cool. Never mind then. I'll just
I think he says he'll take care. He'll call or
yeah, he'll take care
hand,
of it.
handle
Yeah.
it for her. And he passes the dad in front of Tomoko's shrine
Mm-hmm.
and is like, "Damn, he's really going through it. I really hope he pulls through. He's in such denial right now, or some shit." And you're just like,
Yeah.
this man who's done fuck all this entire time you've been at this house. Yeah, you care about him and not the grieving mother who's taking care of everything.
Yeah. It was very, and like, didn't seem to give any, like, and I get, like, there's very much a difference between a parent, like the parent losing the child and the aunt losing the niece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't care that, like, I get that he's not involved, but like, Shizu seems very involved with their family as much as she can be, being married to this douchebag. Like, doesn't care about her feelings at all, doesn't care about his sister-in-law's feelings, but his brother-in-law, he's like, man, I really hope this guy pulls through. What?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, me too, but like, damn, why can't we hope that everybody pulls through?
He's not great at all. And this is where he gets the whole thought of, I wish Shizu would act like her name, Quiet, because he's reenacting Tomoko's last moments before she dies.
Yeah.
And so he's like having a fake drink and like drinking it and looking around. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing, my guy?
Yeah. She's like, hey, I thought we were here to, like, I don't know, visit my grieving family. And he's all, shut up, I'm working.
Pretty much.
This is crazy. I did want to point out though, because I think this is a fun little topic of discussion. When Yoko wakes up from her nap.
Oh, the demon mask.
The demon mask.
Yes.
And Asakawa goes on this big thing because she starts screaming when she sees the demon mask when she wakes up. And he's like, have you been teaching her about demons?
Like in picture books or something.
In picture books. And Shizu's like, obviously was like, what the fuck? Why?
We watch Bluey. What are you talking about?
Why would you ask that? She's a baby. What? Well, I'm instilling the fear of demons in her. And so because she's freaking out about it, and he compares it to, she saw Godzilla
and wasn't scared.
She saw, like, not obviously the Godzilla, but like, you know,
figurines and stuff.
A figurine, like big figurines, and wasn't afraid of them. But this demon mask that's hung up, she was afraid of. And so it's he talks, like, we kind of get into that, like, intrinsic versus learned fears.
Because he compares it to her being afraid of the dark.
He compares it to her being afraid of the dark. And so I think it's fun. In my brain, I imagine it's probably because she saw something, right? Supernatural shit's in the house already. I feel like it has less.
Do you think it was like
yeah,
I feel like
it has less to do with the actual, like, just the mask, and more of her either getting bad vibes and picking up on them in the house, or something was actually, like, attached to that thing. But I did want to you know, fears, intrinsic versus learned.
Yeah, this is the thing. So we wanted this to be a live stream so we could get people's opinions on stuff.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks because my notes are also written for a way of like, hey, what do you guys think?
What's your opinion? So yeah, once you hear this, post your opinion on what do you think.
Comment on the video on YouTube, go to our Instagram, Threads. What's the other thing we do? We have a Discord.
Yeah, let us know what you think on your opinion on the difference between an intrinsic fear and a learned fear, and why they come about, and can a learned fear become intrinsic eventually? Because genetic memory.
That's a whole thing. We've talked about that before, like the genetic predisposition to specific things, just because, like, they talk about what's the thing? generational trauma. And like how you see it in animals, right? Like why do butterflies know to migrate and things like that? Like there's something in your genes that can remember something that happened. And so is the fear genetically predisposition, for lack of a better term, like being afraid of the dark? That's something many people are just afraid of. And then you have people who are like afraid of spiders or snakes and all of this kinds of things. And then you look at a demon mask. That's interesting, because is it the vibes that it's giving off? Or is it like, because you would think like Godzilla is scarier than a mask.
I didn't say, yeah, when you think about it, obviously we don't know what the mask looks like, right? But what I'm imagining is one of like they're not very scary.
I'm thinking of like a kabuki mask.
Yeah, like and you know, I'm an adult now, but thinking about these things, like they're not that scary to look at. It's the idea behind them,
right,
that makes them scary. And so if Yoko doesn't know that it's supposed to be scary, then why is she afraid of it? But then there also begs the question of, not to get religious, but like religion, like if that is something that is like an intrinsic fear, because like if this is, you know, the power of whatever, for lack of a better term, the power of God, right? If your intrinsic fear is to be afraid of evil, then a demon is what represents that. And so it's kind of like, that's why I was kind of curious about whether you think this is like a weird, like a religious thing of like an intrinsic fear of like, this represents the evil that I'm supposed to be afraid of, or if it's the learned fear. But like I said, I think it's just something was hoogity boogity.
I think I would agree with that more, because there isn't anything that suggests they have like a religious background, more so than just, you know, having someone shrine. It doesn't seem like they practice really any type of thing, because I think if they did, he would do something about like religiously about everything that's happening. So I think it's more just, I think maybe there were some lingering effects of everything that happened, because she was sleeping in a room next to the room where Tomoko had died. And what we know about what's going to happen, I think there was some lingering shit going on, and it wasn't fully the mask, but maybe it was there, and then what was left in its place, she saw the mask.
Yeah.
So it got like something spooky, and then the real life thing that was left over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Type less deal.
Okay. Cool.
So he calls around, or no, he gets the bureau, his investigation. They have a network, which makes everything line up, and how he's able to do a lot of this. To be able to contact the resort to get a list of names, and he's able to find the names of Nanayama, Tamako, Haruko, and Takehiko, who all stayed there on Wednesday, August 29th in cabin B4. So it was a school night. It was a Wednesday.
Yes, it was a school night.
I thought they stayed on a Saturday, because he goes off on this whole tangent about how he mentions this every time he goes to the freaking cabins, that they're only busy on weekends.
Yeah, so, but I think because like it was summer break. And so...
Sorry, yeah, I just meant like I got confused because
He keeps talking about the weekends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
There are three full... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
He's able to figure out who Nanoyama is, and that the name, he lent it to one of the boys, who is,
Izuma.
Is she... Huh?
Izuma?
No. Izuma's what the frick is his name? Suichi. Suichi's the one who borrowed it. Because Haruko and Takehiko are the other couple. Takehiko's the other guy. So it would have had to have been Suichi who borrowed the card. Anyways, he finds out who Nanoyama is, and I think returns the card.
Yes.
There's some dialogue there.
He does mail back the card.
And then he is going to take a trip up to the resort and rents a car. And there are 3 full fucking pages of description of him driving up to this resort.
Yeah. There is a lot of description. I do, he's freaking out a little bit right now, which fair, he's like, I'm going to investigate what I think is a deadly virus. I'm a little nervous. And so he like stops and he stops at a gas station and he's like talking to that guy, and the guy's like, can you just like go?
I thought it was like a toll road.
It was. Well, it was like he stopped in to get cup of noodles.
Oh, that's right.
And he's like talking to this guy because he's like kind of nervous about going up.
He's like, oh yeah, is the resort up that way?
Yeah.
And then he just like stands there.
Yeah.
For a hot second.
And the guy's like, okay, bye. And Asakawa is just like nervous. And like, I get that, right? Like that need of just like, he's kind of procrastinating. He knows that this needs to be done. He's set his mind to it, but he's procrastinating because he's nervous. And when he makes his way to the resort, makes a point to mention that he goes to the restaurant first because he couldn't avoid going to the restaurant first. And there's something about that was weird. And I don't know if that was like because of the people that were there.
That's what I think it is that because to summarize the 3 pages is that it goes from a 1-lane road going through the woods.
Sketchy road.
Yeah, and he's like, there's not enough room for him to pull off if another car comes. And then all of a sudden it hits a 2-lane road that's paved and there are streetlights, and then you see like a 3-story building and you see the whole resort. So it's weird that you take like this weird back road up to this nice area, but he's getting sketched out the more he's driving on a 1-lane road with no lights. And so as soon as he hits like civilization, he's drawn to where the people are because he's like, that was spooky and creepy, and let me see the people.
Let me see the lights and the people. I do think it's hilarious. I don't know if this is genuinely how he feels or just like that inner monologue, but I did write down he's the only person I would be able to spend this time with, which, by the way, I figured he was going to be spending like a week there with the way he was talking. The only person I would be able to spend any time with like this would be, some rando guy, right? That he knows, some associate. And he's like, but I didn't want to bring him into this. Like, literally, he says the only reason that he came alone is because he couldn't stand the idea of having to share a space with somebody, and not because the virus could be deadly.
Oh, yeah.
That was his reasoning. Not because he didn't want to drag somebody else into a potentially, what's the word I'm looking for? Infectious environment, but because he couldn't stand the idea of sharing a room.
Well, and he does talk about that. I don't know where in the book, but he mentions it a few times. They have like a small condo, the 3 of them do, and he hates it. Mm-hmm. He's like, the only time I can ever get any rest is once they go to sleep, and then I get my whiskey and I get to hang out and do nothing.
He's very adamant about being by himself, which might come into play later, but in the series, who knows? But yeah,
no, this entire time, and I'm like, then why the hell do you have a wife and kid? And then I have to, again, that's what you do. Mm-hmm. It's the 90s. You get a wife, you have a kid, you do the thing. Yep. You're fulfilling your societal duties.
Yeah. Anyways, he goes into this restaurant and he's like kind of creeping there, and one of the waiters is like, hey, can I help you? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm looking for the cabins. And he's like, yeah, go farther down.
You could have just kept going
straight. But that need for social and like, hey, I'm not alone.
Yeah. He does talk about how there's tennis court and there's people playing tennis. And that everything sounds warped and distorted.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like an alternate type of
Yeah, your phone has gone off a few times.
I don't know where it's at.
I think it's still on the bed.
Oh, okay. Like some type of alternate reality, because he's like, who the heck drives up here to play tennis at 8:00 at night? Mm-hmm. Who's doing that? The tennis courts are full. The restaurant is booming, even though apparently it closes, because we know it's 8:00 because apparently the restaurant closes at 8:00.
Yeah, and there's still people in it.
It's packed and there's lights everywhere. And then you go down to the cabins and it's the opposite. They're spread out. They're in the woods. There's only a couple that you can see from the road. it's just like the contrast is very different, and it's supposedly all the same resort.
Yeah, so I think it's actually a really smart idea for a resort, because we talked about this when we stayed at the resort. I really would have liked to have more of the cabin environment where we were less resort feel and more like on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And our friends we were with really liked the resort. So I think being able to have those two kind of things that are all under one umbrella is nice, because then you can have the alone feel, but if you really wanted to go to the restaurant or do the amenities, it's like a short walk, but it's,
It feels separate.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and I mean, in my opinion, I think the cabins were first.
I honestly do too, and that's how it kind of seems, is like the cabins were first and they added this stuff on later.
Because it was originally, so the resort is a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
It's a golf course with amenities, right? So the first thing they built was the golf course. So I'm assuming they built the golf course and then the people are like, oh, this is so out of the way, let's put in some fucking cabins. And they're like, oh, the more room we have, and then they
Mm-hmm.
added on like the actual like resort towers, and then hotel rooms and that kind of stuff.
No, absolutely.
I do need to point out, I can't speak on the Japanese version, but for the English version, the cabins, it's not a resort. It's like going into the cabins in the middle of the woods type deal.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it seems like here, except like you get that, but then like it's like this weird, like, oh, to the left over here is like this bright and shiny world. Like it does feel like the cabin in the middle of the woods, except there's also like
to your left is shiny wood, like normal village, like town, and then it's like weird dilapidated cabin.
Yeah.
But they talk about like they've all been updated and they have like good amenities and stuff. And in the American version, it's like you're going to a cabin that hasn't been updated since the 80s.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the 90s. But the movie came out in like 2002.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that vibe of, oh, I'm glad we're only sleeping here because it's a roof over your head and like a place to eat dinner, but it's not like you want to spend all your time there like a resort.
Yeah.
And it's in the American movie makes no fucking sense because all of this happens, right? In a very similar vibe. It opens with two young girls and the whole death, and it's the movie taken and thrown into an American vibe with the undertones of a Japanese mythos.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really weird. I don't like it. And you'll hear my thoughts about it tomorrow. But just, it's not great. And I don't know why they gender swap.
That is weird. But
well, besides the fact that he's an awful person, I don't like him.
We've talked about this. Why our protagonists in horror films can't be men.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. And we've already kind of hit on it here, and as he goes into the cabin, he, like, puts on gloves and stuff, and it's like, the virus can be active anywhere, and he literally says, I need to put scientific terms to something I don't understand, because otherwise, how am I gonna, like, do the thing?
Yeah. And, well, but I think, like, and I'll bring it up again later, but I do feel like Asakawa is the kind of male horror protag that we need, because when you get to Americanized, like the for whatever reason in horror films everything is amplified, so like masculinity is masculine and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And like
you get your dude bros,
which like is chill, like it's not bad, but like when you have situations where it's like psychological things or like kind of a mystery on top of it, that's not what you want. You don't want a dude bro to punch their way through a problem, like that's not the point. And so I think that because that's kind of what we talked about, why like we have a lot of females in horror like as the main character, because there's just something that's like they can have that vulnerability without being in Americanized society. Yeah. They can have that vulnerability without being judged too harshly or whatever.
Well, we talk about this in the episode that comes out tomorrow, is that the Japanese remake, or the American remakes of Japanese films, throw a blonde white woman as the protag.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that. Is that your tummy?
Yeah, it's my tummy.
Oh, no.
I needed a snack.
I also need breakfast, so once we finish this, we're eating breakfast. But no, they throw a blonde white woman as the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
In The Grudge, too. I believe in The Grudge, The Ring, and The Forest are the three that we talked about. the forest isn't a remake, but it's set in Japan in the suicide forest. And so we have a whole discussion about it being that is the archetype that is believed that Americans feel the most sympathy for, and you rooting for enough because of like the underdog, whatever, for whatever reason. What?
I don't know why. Nothing.
You gotta say it now.
No, because we can't edit it out.
If it's that bad, I'll edit it out. What?
No, I was just thinking, like, it's kind of ironic because, like, if that's statistically, like, who we're rooting for, it, like, the white blonde is, like, the one we always think is, like, quote-unquote, that's the brunt of the jokes for stupidity. Yeah. And so it's like, are we rooting for them because we think they're dumb and they don't know any better?
I mean, that's fair, because it is also a stereotype that the blonde dies first in the horror movie. And then you get all of these, like, female blonde protags as final girls. Very interesting.
I wonder if they're trying to break the stereotype.
By then making it its own stereotype?
By then making it its own stereotype.
Interesting.
Who knows? Maybe there's just a lot of blonde women, and the statistic is there. Maybe blonde's just in. Always.
Always. I mean, people do dye their hair blonde quite a bit. Again, this is all Americanized. I know we're talking about a Japanese book, but... So, he pours himself a glass of whiskey and puts ice in it, but then refuses to top it off with tap water because of the virus.
Yeah, I just say, so I did write down, I thought it was so funny. Not funny, but it is kind of funny, because he's like... To be in that moment, it's not funny, because he's like, okay... Now that I'm here, I'm admitting that maybe it could be something else, because in my back of my brain, I've gone, this is not a virus, this is something else. But he's been putting that the need for scientific, scientific anything explanation to it. But then he's there, and now he's like, I don't know if it's a virus or if it's supernatural. I need to be prepared for both. He's like, he's got all the lights on. He's got gloves on.
He's not going to drink the water.
Drinking the water. She's listening out for sounds to make sure things. And I'm like, this poor guy, like, he did it to himself, but I can't imagine just the fear of just, like, anything could kill me right now. And I don't know, like, I don't know what to be on the lookout for. I don't know what to find. I don't know what's here and what's going on. And I don't know what I need to be worried about. And then he gets a little drunk and he's all, fuck it. Top it off with tap water.
Does he end up topping it off? Yeah. Because I know he does it, and then later he's like, but I put the ice in there. Yeah, so that's like...
he's like, I'm gonna... Because he put the ice in, and then his scientific brain was like, but let's just hope that whatever the virus is
extreme temperatures.
Can't survive extreme temperatures, so the ice is probably fine.
But not the tap water.
Not the tap water.
And he ends up finding out that the kids were the last people who stayed here.
Oh, yeah, he's going through... So he decides to drink his whiskey and go through, like, the guest book of the experiences that they had here. And I thought this was so funny. I'm pretty sure this is the part where he's, like, reading through these things. And, like, I get it, right? He's a reporter, so he's doing this probably with a statistic in mind of, like... The research I've done, these types of people. But he's like making up stories about these random people as he's going through the guest book. He's like, oh, they probably did this that evening, and then they decided that they would. And I was like, okay, sure.
And he also says he feels a compulsion, like he has to go chronologically. He can't just skip to the end.
Oh, he can't go to the end. He has to read them all.
He has to.
Yeah, no, he's going through and reading them all. And that, I feel like, is less of a supernatural thing, in my opinion, and it's a fear-based. If I skip to the end, then
I'm gonna miss something.
I'm not only am I missing something, but I'm there. I'm real. I'm figuring this out. When I'm looking through these pages and I'm reading about the people that have been here. These cabins have only been here for 6 months, by the way. Just to...
Oh, then the cabins can't be the first things that were built, no?
Maybe. I don't know. The cabins aren't that old. I don't know if they're 6 months. They've only been open for 6 months. I don't know how long the cabins themselves have been there, but for this resort...
You're right.
It's only that for this specific company, these cabins have only been renting out for 6 months. So, he is like flipping through, and I feel like it's less of a I'm gonna miss something and more of a like once I hit it, it's real. and this investigation actually starts. Once I start searching for clues, I'm going to find things out. And Asakawa is a very timid. He's very fear-based.
Which is super interesting for a journalist.
Which I find so interesting. I love it. I think it's fun to get that kind of like it's the do it anyways phrase, which I'm super into, but like he's scared.
Yeah.
And that's fun because you get like this like genuine, it feels more genuine with someone who is actually scared, right? Like if you get a reporter who's just like, yeah, so and so did whatever, blah blah blah, and he's like, no, like I can imagine what it felt like to be here, and that scares me. I'm scared to be in the same position, and that I find very fun. But so yeah, that I feel like was less of a supernatural
and
thing.
more of a him thing.
And more of a him thing. Us getting even more of a read on just what his personality type is.
Okay, yeah, I can fuck with that.
Yeah.
He ends up finding the 4 teenagers. Suichi and Tomoko, I think, are the 2 who write in it. I don't know if all 4 of them write in it.
Well, maybe.
Oh, I didn't write the page number down for that one.
I did. So, so sorry if you guys can hear that. My stomach is doing whales. I doubt you can, but just in case.
Her dinosaurs be hungry.
My dinos be hungry. So he finally makes it to the last page, and it's August 30th, which the kids stayed there on the 29th. And so as they're checking out on the 30th, they wrote ULP. Ulp? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know if it's like a whelp or a
Ulp.
I don't know.
I think it's like an ope.
That's what I don't know. Like I don't know if it's just like I
think so.
Yeah,
I think it's just an exclamation.
Yeah. Consider yourself warned. You'd better not see it unless you've got the guts. You'll be sorry you did. And then in parentheses, evil laughter, and it's signed SI, which is
Suichi
Izuma. So it's page 70 of the ring.
Of the copy we have.
And so he's like, watch what? What am I watching? What am I going to be? What is it? And so he's looking around this cabin and he's like, what can you see? And he spots the VCR. And
it takes him a little.
It takes him a minute.
He's not smart. It takes him a hot second.
He's not smart. That's the crazy part about this man being a reporter is he's not smart. He may have be good at resource finding and researching, but he's not smart. He cannot put
things together.
He has zero pattern recognition. He has zero ability to conjure ideas about things. It
takes him a long time to get places.
Because of my new terms and things that I'm learning, he has a low IQ and a very low EQ. Let me tell you. Both are low. I don't know if this man has a job. But anyways.
Damn, you're bringing IQ into this?
Yeah.
Isn't IQ like a made-up thingy?
Okay, IQ, no. Yes, but it has to do with pattern recognition and
So not IQ in the way people are like, oh, I have 180 IQ and blah, blah, blah. IQ in what IQ actually is, which is your ability to think through different things.
Yeah, so your IQ is basically your right brain, your math, and your puzzles and your shit like that.
Okay.
And then your EQ is your emotional intelligence.
He has none.
And he has none. He has neither. He scores low on both.
She's back in school right now.
Yeah, anyways. And so he puts his way through and finds a VCR. And he remembers when he checks in, the guy had a list of VCRs. Or wait, what the fuck? VHSs.
There's VHSs he can check out.
He can check out, and he's like, oh, maybe they're talking about a VHS.
And then he lists super popular horror movies that had just come out around the time.
Yeah, they were talking about all the fun new movies that had just come out, and they have them available on VHS.
And he does make the distinction where he's like, no, because if it was one of those, you would have just said this movie.
This movie, it's an it.
Why is it an it?
Why can't you name it?
Yes.
And so as he's looking, the guy's like, oh, you're here to rent a movie? And the guy's like, yeah. And then he finally makes his way. His eyes are drawn too. It's like he can't not look. This is where I think is a supernatural one. His eyes are drawn to it. There's all of these titles. He's talking about the rows of shelves of titles, right? And he's drawn to look at the very last one that has no name and no case.
Well, that's why I don't think it's supernatural. Because every other VHS has a case.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Do you remember having all of your VHSs lined up? If one didn't have a case, it's
pretty obvious. It is very obvious. They did make sure that those cases were pretty bright. But, like, he's, like, drawn to, like, making sure he finds
the thing. The it.
And so it's at the very end, and he's like, oh, what's that one? And the guy's like, oh, I don't know. I found it in a cabin. This could be way off base of what I'm saying. But, like, basically what comes down to, I found it in a cabin, and I didn't know what it was. And he's like, oh, have you watched it yet? And he's like, nah. And he's like, okay, well, I'll rent that one. And he's like, are you sure? Like, I don't know what it is. And he's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I'll watch it, and I'll bring it back. And so he
loses his patience so fast with people.
Oh, he does. He's instantly pissed off. If someone doesn't have, if it's not an immediate yes or no, which is also crazy for a reporter because you have to have fucking conversations, but it's like immediately if they're not like, here's the answer.
He gets so frustrated.
He's mad.
Because this guy is like, well, I don't know what tape it is. Like, I've never seen it. Are you sure you want to, like, I can't rent this to you. This is weird. Like, you don't know what it is. And he's in his head is like, God, just shut the fuck up and rent me the goddamn tape.
Yeah.
And he has no backbone to say any of that out loud.
Oh, yeah. It's all internal monologue. He talks so much shit inside and then is like, but I can't do confrontation.
So okay. Please, can I just rent this? Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
So he rents it, gets himself another glass of gets himself the glass of whiskey. Another one.
I think he gets himself another one.
And this is the point where he's all, fuck it, I'm topping it off with tap water.
Which just gross. We did a whiskey tasting with one of our friends, and goddamn, like, I don't know how y'all drink it.
So, tops it off, sits down, watches the film. Do you have the order of events of what happens in the film?
I did write down the page number.
I have the page. I just wasn't sure if you had the...
I did not, because it's 7 pages of description for the tape.
But I feel like they're important.
Okay, you want to do a rough overview?
I'm just going to do a rough overview of the scenes.
Go for it.
So it starts off with a black screen, and then the light begins to flicker, and it says... Flicker. And it starts off with, it's like a flickering light. I imagined it like in The Incredibles 2, the screensaver, where it's like...
So I imagined it like a Control Freak from Teen Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Where like, does, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it starts off with, watch until the end. And those words disappear, and then it says, you will be eaten by the lost. Which the phrase after that I think is so funny. It says the last word didn't make much sense, but being eaten didn't sound too pleasant. So then it's comes to a red screen, and then it was like as a loud ground. It says ground rumble. And the screen is flashing from black to white and red. It's just like colors flashing on a screen, and then it shifts to the volcano. That's about to erupt. And then it's darkness, and then a clear blue sky. That gets painted black, and then scarlet liquid is spurted out at the center of the screen. And then the character for Mountain, it's a black screen, and the character for Mountain pops up. A pair of dice are tumbling around the bottom of a lead bowl. People's faces. No, I'm sorry, an old woman's face pops up on the screen. Gives him she's speaking,
She's speaking with an interesting dialect.
With a weird dialect. And then there's a face of a newborn baby. And this is the part where it starts to get weird. Because he's, like, kind of drawn in. But when the baby pops up on the screen...
He says he
can feel it. He catches himself moving to as if holding a newborn baby.
And then feeling the fluid. What's it called?
Amniotic.
He, like, feeling like he can feel it wash over his arms.
Mm-hmm. Like he's carrying this, like, newly birthed baby.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he could smell, like, the smell of
everything. It's a baby boy, right?
Yes, and it is a baby boy. Well, no, it doesn't specify.
Does it not?
No. Oh, it is a boy, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then it cuts to, like, hundreds of human faces, and this is a scene where they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and the voices get kind of louder, and they're yelling, like, fraud and liar and all these kinds of kind of just, like...
They're being assholes.
They're being assholes. And he says, like, he feels it. Like, it's not just he's, like, these people are talking to him.
Like, he's experiencing what is going on.
Like, the ridicule of what's happening. Oh my gosh, I just connected that scene. Ugh. Then there's a television on a wooden stand. Like one of the old school ones.
That has bunny ears.
And that has the bunny ears. And then there's a man that appears, and it's like he's hatred that he feels when this man pops up on the screen. And it's this guy, like, I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I'm not gonna read the description again because I already have an image in my head, and I'm just imagining like sweaty, gross, like, in your face, like, just like this guy is just like invading your personal space, you know, and just like disgusting and like, you're angry, but like he's like, Asakawa feels anger, but like the image I'm viewing on the screen is like, I do remember they said, like, the guy on the screen looks like a predator, like he's a predator going after prey. And it like zooms in on his face, and then there's trees, and then like a forest view, and then it's back to the man again, and his, like, it's insinuating that he's not wearing a shirt, and he's still, like, just up in his face, and yeah. And then finally the edges of the screen turn black, darkness gradually encroaching in a ring on the center. And that's white letters drift in the view, and it says, to those who have viewed these images are fated to die at this exact hour 1 week from now. If you do not wish to die, you must follow these instructions exactly. And he's like watching this. I laughed when this happened. I thought it was like the comedic timing of it was crazy. It's like that break of tension, you know? But is also like adds more because it's like your instructions are as followed, and then someone recorded over the ending.
It's a commercial break.
It's a commercial break. And it's like a commercial break for like, oh, it's a mosquito repellent. It's like he's like drawn in, and like when he talks about it, he's like his 5 senses, like every one of his senses are in tune with this movie or whatever, these images, whatever you want to call it. His whole body is reacting to it. He can feel like what's going on emotionally and physically. He can smell like the areas he's feels like he's actually there. And then just to be jarred out of that with a mosquito repellent.
It's a good tension breaker. We talk about this on the podcast a lot about you have to build that tension, and then having those tension breakers really does a good job of you get to breathe for a second and then launch you back into that high tension atmosphere. It almost makes it like more intense when you have a tension break to then jump into it. It's good. And can I tell you, the way they describe the tape is so much more terrifying than what you see in the movie.
Oh, I'm gonna say it was very like I said, I wasn't super into this, and I feel like I'm sure not translated, because even still, even with this writing style that I'm not very into, I did find myself kind of like reading it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was
like
just
you're not forcing, you're like going faster reading the tape.
Like your sense of like anxiety kind of gets heightened while reading it as well.
Yeah.
And I think like they did a great job with that, the descriptions with it, and I may not have been able to feel the blood and amniotic fluid from this baby, but I did feel the anxiety of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of like just being able to, like, you just caught a newborn and then just like thinking about that.
And it was also like the just like the idea of like being so entranced in this thing, right? Like he's watching this movie and his body's doing things without him knowing,
Mm-hmm.
until he gets that jar of like, oh shit, I felt wet. And he's like, wait, why am I holding my body like this? Why am I looking like this? Why did like what is going on? Why do my hands feel wet? They're dry. And I don't know, there's something about like, I don't know what it is about the subconscious doing things on its own that like is so fascinating but also trippy. But I don't know why. That's like, ugh.
No, it's the what your brain can conjure due to given stimuli is interesting.
But also what you're, there's so much in this book, the psychology in it.
It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's classified as, or not a psychological thriller. I believe it's classified as a paranormal horror. But the psychology that goes into this type of fear is wild.
Well, not only that, but like it alludes to it so many times throughout the book of like the things that your subconscious will do when you're not aware, right? Like you're doing things without even realizing you're doing things. You're just doing them.
Yeah.
And whether it's you're trying to survive, and so you let go of the thinking and you let that instinct take through, or you're so afraid that you black out and you just kind of do the thing, which could also argue into survival, but I feel like there's a little bit of a difference there in like in the psychological fear versus like a physical threat, and like just stuff like that. I think is so great. The sickness that they talk about, the fevers breaking out and your subconscious taking over there, it's crazy.
I'm glad you enjoyed this book. I didn't think you were going to.
Yeah, I did. Bro, at this point in the book, after I read this part, you had asked me what I thought so far, and I said, I don't remember anything from the movie, obviously. Yep. So this is really new for me. I said, so far, despite Asakawa being a total dickwad, I am enjoying it. I hope the answer...
You hope the answer?
Oh, I hope the answer is in the images. This is this is what I wanted to, I hope the answer to the riddle is in the images in the
tape.
In the tape, because I love symbolism. But I'm not going to try and solve it. That's not my job.
You don't solve things.
I just read. So yes, this is big anxiety inducing video. I feel like also, do I need to speed things up, because I will keep talking about this book and it's already been an hour and we're not even halfway through.
It's okay. What else do you have to say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No.
That's all I have to say about the videotape.
Okay.
My next opinions are once we get to Ryuji.
Okay, yeah. So he watches the tape, freaks the fuck out, is like, fucking charm, blah blah blah. He's in it, right? But that tension breaking scene, he's kind of out of it, and he's like, I'm out of my depth here. Like, I need to reach out to someone else because I don't know what's happening. And he knows just the man who doesn't mind getting into something that might kill him.
Well, and also is just smart.
Yes. He's
a genius, but doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. This is Ryuji.
Yes. Our dear. Are you saying Ryuji or Ryuji? I've been saying Ryuji.
I've been doing Ryuji, so because it's Ryuji. Ryuji. Or it'd be I think it would be Ryuji.
So Ryuji. We meet Ryuji Asakawa leaves. Doesn't even stay the night.
No, he dips.
He dips. Our dogs are alerting us of a serious danger, which I'm sure is
a child
crossing the street.
Or a bird.
Could also have been a bird.
There's nothing.
So Asakawa dips, right? Calls up his buddy Ryuji, who he knows, he's known since high school, and he knows is smart boy.
See, high school. They met in high school. Later on in the book, they say junior high.
Well, maybe they did meet in junior high, but they became friends in high school.
Well, he talks about this. I think what I'm saying is I think again it's a translation error where later on I think it gets translated to junior high and it shouldn't be. I think all of this was high school.
Yeah. So we meet Ryuji, and out the gate,
homie's like, "Show me the fucking video.
Show me the video. I need to see this. What's got your panties in a twist? I'm here for it." And he is. I say this knowing the end because I have ideas.
Okay.
And so I'm going to tell you, I enjoy Ryuji as a character. I feel like he is a necessary part of this story. Very deeply ingrained in it.
You're saying that like you don't think I like him.
Well, you think like I'm not saying you don't like him, but he's like our opening statement for Ryuji is Asakawa knows him because Ryuji told him he raped a woman their junior year of high school. And Asakawa's just kept that a secret.
And so they've had this weird bond of they just tell each other everything whenever because this thing binds them together.
Yes. And Ryuji's like, oh, got another one last night. And doesn't specify, but Asakawa's like, oh, he raped somebody else.
And so he just makes a lot of assumptions.
He makes a lot of assumptions. And, like, doesn't comment on it, doesn't say anything, just takes it in stride. But Ryuji's like, I told you I want to see the end of human life. I want to watch it. I want to watch it fall apart. I want to see what happens at the end of human civilization, right? And he's just so curious about everything. And he is a psychology professor.
He is not meant to be a psychology professor. Isn't that correct? He had to take a part-time lecturer job because someone who was older than him got the position he wanted.
Oh, yes. Because of tenure, too. It wasn't even because they were better, but they had been there longer.
Yeah, and you can't promote someone who's younger and blah, blah, blah. So he's a part-time professor, I think, when he should have gotten, like, a very prestigious job, but literally can't just because of his age.
Yep. And so, which is important. I feel like it's very important and is very much a part in which you have to remember when you look at Ryuji as a character.
He's a philosopher.
He is obsessed with the mind. He's obsessed with people and how they react and who they are. And he doesn't give a fuck about anything.
He doesn't. He says shit and Asakawa just looks at him like, what the fuck are you? Like, who does that? Type deal. And he watches the tape.
Zero hesitation. Like, even, like, it's later on, but, like, even people that, like, don't believe Asakawa are like, just in case I'm not gonna watch this, Ryuji's like, put it in, make me a copy, I'm gonna watch it 1,000 times.
And does.
It does.
He is now, after he watches the tape, they brainstorm. Where was it made? How was it made? Who are the people? What's the charm? Because they call it a charm. Because
they have this, they say, it's kind of what they come up with because they don't know what to call it.
Yeah, I think a translation, I think it should be curse.
Yeah.
But they call it a charm throughout the whole thing of like, how do we break the charm? And so Ryuji comes up with this whole thing where he's like, well, we got to figure out who made the tape. It obviously this kid who, because it, did we say how the tape was made? A child.
No, they haven't, because they haven't figured it out yet.
No, he did. The tape was recorded.
Well, not by this point, where we're at with him watching, they hadn't realized it. But yeah, a kid did make the tape.
Sorry, chronologically. How it happened is that there was a family who stayed right before the teens, and this kid wanted to watch one of his cartoons, and he wasn't able to, so he put it in the tape while his parents watched something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was recorded. And so their whole thing right now is figuring out what are the scenes on the recording. Like, what is the mountain? A volcano erupted. That should be easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
There are quite a few volcanoes that they have to go through. What was it? It was the volcano, and it was the big one, and
He was trying to figure out what the lady was saying.
the dialect, that's right. What she was saying, because they couldn't understand her due to the dialect.
Mm-hmm.
So they break off, and they have their missions.
They have their homework. And so at this moment, Asakawa is a day behind on his timeline, or Ryuji has one extra day.
Almost exactly 24 hours.
Almost exactly 24 hours more than Asakawa on this death deadline. Asakawa makes the copy for Ryuji. Ryuji takes that copy. Asakawa leaves the tape at his house, which is very important because while he's out doing research, Shizu
and Yoko
watch the tape.
And the reason they're not just like watching the tape because he left it in. They're watching it because she thinks they're doing something shady, because she comes out of the bedroom to them watching a tape and then instantly turning off the TV, and she's like, two men in the middle of the night drinking, watching a videotape. What the fuck is this?
What the fuck is this? Yeah, so she thinks, I'm guessing, she thinks that they're watching porn. I would probably also second that. Like, she's just probably like, what kind of fucking porn are we watching?
What the fuck are you guys watching in my house? Because she doesn't like
Ryuji.
At all. Asked him to not bring that man into her house, and he does. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't respect his wife.
Yeah.
At all.
He just waited until she was asleep to do it.
Yep.
So, of course, Shizu watches it. So now they have a few more hours after Ryuji.
They watch it the next day.
They watch it the next day. The next morning.
Yep.
So they have until like noon.
They have 12 hours.
Yeah.
Because they watched it at around 10:30. Shizu says that they watched it right after one of Yoko's cartoons.
Yeah.
So they guess it's around 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that they watch it.
They watched it.
So Asakawa finally kind of sort of becomes a husband and father and is like, I have to do this to save my family.
And is really an asshole to Shizu about the whole thing.
It really is an asshole. Doesn't explain anything, just gets mad at her. But, like I said, low IQ, low EQ, this man is just a mess. But they start doing research on this tape, and they end up finding out details about this mountain.
Mount Mihara.
And then this is the part that's crazy to me. So, not super crazy, but Ryuji ends up knowing a guy in a language, because obviously he works at a college, so he talks to a language professor. He's able to get a closer, like, what this lady's actually saying and where that dialect is from, which is close to where Mount Mihara is. And so they're like, okay, Oshima, this is the place. This is where we need to go. But then while they're looking at it,
Ryuji says, hey, you gotta go find an antenna, because this is where they figure out, like, it was probably broadcasted. The next day,
oh, that's right. It was you need to figure out who got into the system to hack the broadcast to play this.
Exactly. So Asakawa was doing research on mountains and radio waves, and he rented a car and was about to drive to Oshima when he gets a call from Ryuji saying, you're coming over right now.
Yeah. I've got, your genius friend has figured this shit out.
So if you're keeping track, we are now on October 15th. Okay. He watched it on October 14th? No. 13th?
13th, I believe.
Yeah, because he watches it on Friday, and he watches it on Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Yep.
Did not make that connection.
I didn't either.
So Monday is when this goes down.
Yeah, so they are doing research about this videotape, trying to find all the connections that they can on the images that they have and the things that they mean. And Ryuji calls Asakawa and is like, come on over, brah. I got your answer. And this is the part where I think it's crazy to me, and this is like the genius that is Ryuji. He's like, so I made this list, and these are all of the realistic images, and here are all of the abstract images. And this is how long they are, and this is how many times they black out in each of those sections. Now, only blackouts happen in the realistic images, and they happen at this set of interval, which means that it's blinking.
He doesn't say all of this. He makes Asakawa try to figure it out because he's like, I have a bias right now and I need to know if you come to the same conclusion.
I say it does also feel like very teacher-esque.
Oh, he's teachering.
He's so teachering all the time of like, how about you try and come up with the answer? Like, if I give you this information, what conclusion can you come to? Like, he's constantly trying to get Asakawa to use his goddamn brain, and Asakawa's just like, give me the answer, please!
You fucking know! Why do I have to do it? God, he's awful. And so there's the whole chart about it, and so this is where he comes up with, it's not broadcasted. Someone did this with their mind. Because those are blinking scenes.
Those are blinking scenes. And we did have kind of this discussion. We tried not to talk about this while we read it. We read it together, and then we didn't talk about it until now.
Which is rough.
Which was really rough. But we did kind of talk about how Ryuji came to this conclusion because
he knew a professor who was doing research into paranormal phenomenon and occult stuff.
Specifically telepathic
capability. So it's not like this was pulled out of thin air. We already mentioned, and in the book it's mentioned, there was a big occult phenomenon 2 years ago. So this isn't something where it's just he pulled it out of thin air. Like, he has a basis of telekinetic abilities, psychic abilities. He knew a professor who, like, did research on this, worked with that professor on these things. So this is something he's had in the back of his head. So him being like, that's blinking, he has a base knowledge to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Asakawa would never have come up with this, and says that himself, that he would never have thought of that.
He never would have thought about it. I did forget to mention, though, that I, as we read more into Ryuji's character, you know, like, he is very loud and, like, outside of the norms, and he says a lot of shit that's, like, out of left field, and, like, he's just kind of aggressive as a person, you know?
Yeah.
Not, like, mean, but, like, he's just, like, in your face and, like just there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just, but I do, because I don't like really either of them, but I do understand, like, Asakawa, yeah, but Asakawa's like, I don't even know why I'm friends with him, but I keep coming back. And I get that Asakawa is someone who's so reserved and timid and just scared and a loner. And Ryuji to Asakawa is like the epitome of freedom. Like, that's what it's like to live, and to be alive
and say he even says that at some point, of like, he just says whatever and has no thoughts about the repercussions of his actions.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's just free. And so, like, I do get, like, this whole time, because you're kind of like, especially after, well, I don't know about everybody, but, like, for me, especially after Ryuji's like, oh, another one, in Asakawa was like, oh my god, I can't believe, like, do I do something? Do I report this? No, I'm gonna keep him around. Like, I do kind of get, like, he is my symbol of freedom, that, like, this is what it is like to live, and I can't lose that.
But, yes, I agree. And it's not a but, it's a statement of, and I just don't understand, because he has the thought process of, he brought who he believes is a rapist into his home with his baby daughter and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, your wife has asked you not to bring him here. You know what he does. She doesn't know what he does, but you do. And you're just like, it's probably fine. And then the only reassurance he gets is Ryuji being like, I would never do that to your wife and babykins.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah,
it hits you in a way of, would he?
Yeah.
Because why do you even have to preface that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I get it. It's not great. So, but there is that. I just wanted to bring that up, as, like, I do understand that, not what he's doing, but I do understand, like, his need to have Ryuji around, and also Ryuji as a character in this.
No, Ryuji is very necessary, because Asakawa could not do this on his own.
He could not, and also, like, we kind of need to hate him. Asakawa is our protag, and he brought somebody else into this mess with him. But when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, he brought in somebody who I don't think,
like, I don't care if he dies.
I don't care if he dies.
Like, he probably deserves it.
He probably kind of deserves it. And so, like, you kind of get to that point where it's like, oh, okay, I don't hate Asakawa for bringing him in on this. I think he was necessary, and if he ends up dying, he ends up dying because we hate him. He's not a good person.
Yeah.
So I do understand the need for his character. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. But back to the point, like, there was a preface for him going, oh, it's blinking. Those black spots are blinking because they're images of what somebody saw.
Yeah, because you do, here in a few pages, you do learn all of that information.
Mm-hmm.
Ryuji doesn't tell Asakawa any of this.
No, he's just like, my brain space came up with this idea of blinking.
Yeah, and then he tells, because Asakawa already rented a car to go drive out to Oshima to look for antennas was pretty, I think, the next step. Instead, or not Oshima, where was he going to go?
I don't know. He was going to go to, like, some broadcasting areas.
He might have been going back to the cabins. I can't remember which. But now they're going to Oshima to talk to, or find the professor. It's in Oshima.
No, not yet.
At Tommy.
They
Tommy.
have to go to a university to go talk to the professors, but the professor is dead, so they talk to his son.
But they don't go to a university, they go to an inn.
No, because they
go, the inn is half museum, half inn.
Oh, that's right.
So
and so because they have to go through the professor's archives.
Yes. So they go, Ryuji sends them on a mission. He falls asleep instantly as soon as they get in the car.
Don't worry, I'll help.
Wake me when we get to the station. And so they go to this inn/museum for the professor we were just talking about, who knows who was working on the paranormal occult of telekinetic ability. And the professor's dead. His son is now there, and they don't like his son. They think he's a grifter. He's ruining the good professor's name, and even the son's like, I'm not worthy of his name. Like, I didn't do anything great. I'm just a businessman, and I can't follow in his footsteps. So what had happened is when the professor was alive, he made a network of students, and all of these people who spread out around Japan and would bring him back evidence or send him evidence of, hey, this person looks like they might have psychokinetic abilities. I keep interchanging all of these words, and I don't know which one is correct.
Brain powers.
Yeah, brain powers. Mm-hmm. And you brought up...
I did very much this whole project reminded me of Stan Lee's Superhuman show. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, because, I just thought it was so funny. Is like, this is not an out-of-pocket concept because we have that.
No.
Now, like, here it's a thing that happens, and there's TV shows dedicated to, like, quote unquote superhumans, except ours are like not hovering shit, and
it's the what's his name who can withstand super cold temperatures
and like the guy who can run for like 24 hours straight, and like strong men and super flexible guy and whatever the fuck. So no, shit like that, but like it's not totally out of pocket. Like this idea of networking to find people with like crazy abilities.
Yeah, and so they came up with a filtering system, and then any that were deemed questionable, where they couldn't discount it entirely, got put into his archives. And the son is like, they better not ask me. I'm not going back up there. It took 12 students 4 days to get everything all organized. Not doing it. And they're like, we're gonna do it. And he's like, cool. You're crazy. I'm going to show you the archives and you're going to say no. And then they're like, okay, bye. Mm-hmm. We'll see you later. Also, we're going to stay the night here. We're going to rent a room for you tonight. They narrowed down the timeline because the archives are from 1956, 59 to 1988 when the professor died. And Ryuji narrows it down to the first chunk, so from 1960 previous, and I can't remember if it was 56 or 59.
I think it was like 1963 or something to 1959, because he decided that
based on how the TV looked.
Based on the TV, and this is where we kind of get that difference and I hate to say it, but the difference in intelligence between Ryuji and Asakawa, and just the difference in confidence between them as well. And because Asakawa's like, well, why'd you pick that? And he's like, well, that's the date of the TV. And he's like, well, how do you know, like, the TV just wasn't old? He's like, I don't, but like, I gotta start somewhere. Like, that's, you start by just starting.
Yeah.
Like, and Asakawa's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, you're a fucking reporter. What?
To be fair, wasn't he working on CEO, like Spotlight CEO interviews?
He was doing interviews and shit, but I don't know.
It wasn't like he was hunting down leads. He was given projects that he then had to accomplish. And maybe all of this is because his confidence was broken with the thing that happened 2 years ago. Maybe he's doubting a bunch of stuff.
So yeah, it could just be like, it has little to do with intelligence, because we don't actually get a lot of what he's thinking, because he's just timid the whole time on like putting together facts. It's more of like, hey, give me the answer. And it could just very much be a confidence issue, because he's like, the last time I thought I found the answer, it blew the fuck up in my face. So like, now he's just like, give it to me instead. But no, I feel like I've been talking a lot. I'm so sorry.
No, that's what this is for.
Okay.
Again, all of this was supposed to be done live, so this would have involved more conversation. We're hoping maybe, because we plan on doing this next month as well, that we'll figure out Twitch, or maybe we'll just say fuck it and just do it live on YouTube, because that seems a lot easier. Who knows? My camera started bugging out as well. It was flashing magenta.
Who knows?
No. But so they start looking through the records. At some point, Ryuji sends Asakawa away to get dinner because he's hungry. And they're looking through these records, but they're looking for a girl from Oshima.
Oh, the reason they know it's a girl, by the way, is the average blinks per minute.
Which we looked up, and there's no scientific evidence that proves that now, but there were a lot of sex studies early in the 90s and early 2000s that were fully based off of the differences between biological male and biological female of shit that was done. And so this is totally something you would have seen in the early 2000s of, oh, did you know that women only blink X amount of times and men only, it's actually men blink more.
Men blink more than women do, yeah. And so they did it based off the average number of blinks per minute. They decided that it was a woman that they were looking for, and based off of the TV, I say Ryuji decided that based off of the TV, they were going to look at a specific set of years.
And then they, again, got the location based off of the dialect in the mountain.
And they got the location off the dialect in the mountain. And then they end up picking Sadako because of the characters that are on the screen, correct?
Yes, because her last name is it Yamihara? Yamamura. And Yama is the character that pops up on screen, which is the mountain character. If I remember correctly, I am very new to learning Japanese, so I believe it's Yama is the character that pops up on screen, and then the Sada pop up somewhere here, or is that later?
I think it's later.
I think it's later as well. So they find her, and they're like, this is her. They have this just inkling that this is her with the last name and where she's from and the whole situation.
Oh, I'm sorry. It also, just to point out, it does have the location written on it. So that helps.
What does?
The video.
No, her. That's her.
No, I know, but Ozu Oshima. It has the location, and then her name, and then her
age. File.
Yeah,
her file has the location, and yes. Yeah. So they were looking for a woman from Oshima.
So yeah, so yes. I was like, there's no way they just picked it based off of the character. No, it had all of her information.
It had the character, which then it correlated with her last name.
Yep.
And that's how,
they decided after they did the region, they decided on her because of that.
And they spend the night. And so now we're on Tuesday.
We are on Tuesday. I will say I did make another little weird point. I don't know what it is about Ryuji, but he speaks a lot of French. He uses French phrasing a lot.
He does. We had to look up. All I can think of is hors d'oeuvre. Because it's the or
whatever.
What it translates to is like a large body of work, and it's usually done for composers or musicians. And he's asking Asakawa about if he read the doctor, the professor's, or
whatever,
Orville, whatever it was,
Orville Redenbacher.
This is where they go to Atami to take a boat ferry to Oshima. So
it doesn't tell you though. That just goes to the next part and it's all so on the boat and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
They're on a boat now.
Why are we on a boat?
So I can't remember where the inn is because it's not in Oshima. But so they have to drive to Atami to drop off the rental car to get on a ferry to get to Oshima, where Asakawa has a contact who in small island. So Yoshima is a small island where, what's his name? Hayatsu? The reporter? I can't remember his name.
The reporter?
That they're meeting with on Oshima.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name either. That sounds fine. I think you're right, yeah.
He is the Daily News, whatever his reporting agency is, their journalist place. He is their guy for all of the surrounding islands of Oshima and the smaller islands around them. So they don't have to have... They're independent contractors that the different organizations hire. This is their guy. He used to work for the Daily News, and then he retired out here to spend time with his wife or something, whatever. So they meet up with him, and it's raining really badly, and he's a really nice guy, and as soon as they told, like, over the phone, he told him the name, and he's like, yeah, there's only one Yamihara family. You said Sadako, I know exactly who that is. Mm-hmm. It's them. So he takes them... Does he take them instantly there, or does he take them to their house first?
I can't remember, but they do end up going over and meeting with
Genji.
Yes, which is a great uncle.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Genji's the neighbor.
Genji's the neighbor.
He's a cousin. He's Sadako's cousin that owns the...
I thought they said either way.
A family member of Sadako and Shizuko still lives there. So they go to talk to him and they learn that she done dipped. Mm-hmm. Girl has not been on this island since she was 18 and they have no idea what happened to her. That was, what did they say, 25 years ago?
Yeah.
Like it was the last time they saw her, was whatever. And so Asakawa calls Yoshino.
Yes, our poor boy Yoshino, who was in fact the reporter that had written that article about the two kids that got caught in the car.
Yes, yeah. Same. And so it's implied that he is of lower journalist standing than Asakawa is for some reason. Like he didn't get promoted high enough or something. Just it's implied that he's less than Asakawa.
I interpreted that about less than a standing and more about a company based. Asakawa works for a more renowned company than Yoshino does. Which I guess could be a status thing still too. But that's just kind of how I took it. It was less about like you got into a lower company than I did.
Gotcha. I see. It could also be that. So he calls him up and is like, hey, I have like 4 pieces of information for you. I've got a acting company called Theater Troop Soaring or something like that. A name, and it happened 25 years ago. Good luck. Mm-hmm. He's like, what the fuck do you mean? And then we also learn at this point that Shizuko had killed herself. She had launched herself into an active volcano, which,
is brutal.
That's an awful way to go.
We do get a lot of background, and so I feel like because everything happens from this point, everything happens very quickly.
Yes.
And so like I feel at this point for us, this is just gonna be a
go.
Yep.
Because this is where we learn. They talk to Genji, who is Shizuko's childhood friend. They grew up on the island together. It was his first love, because they're like, well, how do we know this 60-year-old man is telling the truth? And they're like, well, when your first love is always someone different.
A man never forgets his first love. Whatever.
Yeah. And so he tells this whole story, and I didn't look into it, did you, about
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Ozuno.
Mm-mm.
It's a statue. I should have looked into it. With everything that happened this morning with the streaming, I was supposed to look it up before we started. During the war, their town got taken over by soldiers, and they dumped this statue into the lake, or into the ocean. Shizuko comes over to his place and is like, grab your boat, we're pulling it out.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just guided by instinct to pull it out. And after this...
Well, because she watched it happen.
Yes, but to come back and...
Yeah.
She knew the rough area and then is guided by instinct after the fact to pull this statue up out of the ocean.
Yeah, she just free dives. I did get a little bit confused because they kept... And I know probably technically it doesn't matter, but they did switch between sea and ocean. And it does make me wonder, like, if this is a conglomerate of islands,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's probably not very deep in between said islands, right? Like, it's deep.
Right.
But not like, because she free dives down with a rope, and they get it.
Well, it does take her multiple times to finally find it. But yes, she just goes in and does it, and they take it back. And after this moment, she had special powers.
Yeah, like she complained about getting a headache, and then
the way they describe it is that she knows things, but she can't choose what she knows.
Yeah.
So she accurately predicted when a volcano was gonna erupt. She gets shown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't get to choose what she sees. So you can't go to her and be like, what am I gonna be like in 15 years? She doesn't have a choice on what she sees. She just has stuff.
Yeah.
And so because of that, she meets this guy who sucks.
Yeah, there's like... So she gains some infamy on the island. And this is Shizuko. So this is Sadako's mother. Gains some infamy on the island. And because of that, she ends up meeting this professor who's studying...
Kind of the same shit.
Whatever. And he's like, oh, she's beautiful and I can do my research with her.
Perfect.
Fuck my wife and kid for right now. I'm gonna get with this bitch. And they travel together and they do things, and like Shizuko's in the newspapers of like this woman with these powers, and like of course there's always the critics that are like
it's the occult boom.
Yeah,
it's when everyone was, you see it we had it in the States of this big occult boom where everyone's talking about ectoplasm and seances and blah 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 blah, and everyone's trying to prove they're real, and you have like Harry Houdini who's trying to disprove it all of that. Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening.
Yeah. And so she's like getting ridiculed in like newspapers, and like they're trying to prove that it's real, and so
he forces her
to do a public display of power, and she tries to tell him like, hey, it's not gonna happen. I can't perform this. I don't get to choose. Like,
I think it was the dice thing with this one too, and she talks about how her powers are lessened when she's stressed.
Yes.
You have to be comfortable and you have to be in an okay environment, and she's surrounded by like 40 fucking people all criticizing her.
100. They have 100 people there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Criticizing her because they don't think she's real already. They don't believe her. They're being assholes. Everyone's got pens and notepads. Like, that's a stressful environment, and it doesn't happen. So everyone's like, hey, these fucking frauds, get the fuck out of here. His reputation's ruined. Her reputation's ruined. And then she winds up pregnant.
Well, she's been pregnant because Sadako was there for that.
I don't think she was.
She was.
I don't think she was.
Why?
We can get into this now.
Why don't you think she was there?
Because Sadako's the baby that's born.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. This is all pre her being born. Until she is born as that baby, she is the baby they catch.
That makes no sense.
Why?
Because it's supposed to be the images. No.
That is my full ass belief.
No, because
then who the fuck is the baby? Oh, her 4-month-old brother who died. I forgot she had a brother. I thought it was Sadako.
No. So I was like, I yes, I appreciate that, but they have a physical timeline of knowing that she was born before this.
I don't know how much she saw, because there's the whole thing, and yes, I know the whole face and the ridicule thing, but she's being ridiculed the entire time, and she sees this when she's like 8.
No, I say so. Yes, with Shizuko, she fails to do the public demonstration, and it ruins them. But Sadako has been traveling with them this whole time. She's with her parents from the age of, I think it said 3 until 10. She's traveling with her parents. And so she's seeing all of this stuff, right? And then after they during this time, Shizuko gets pregnant again. It's a baby boy. He dies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't specify how he dies. I'm pretty sure it's sickness.
Yeah, they don't say.
But he dies.
Giving the whole thing about tuberculosis later on in the book. It's
some type of something. And so Shizuko moves back to the island with Sadako. Daddy Dearest fucks off, loses his job, so he's trying to go, and his wife and his other kid, right? And like tries to build another life, right? Shizuko is depressed and goes a little bit crazy and jumps into the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sadako is living with cousin, uncle, whatever the fuck he is, until 18, when she leaves to join the theater troupe.
And we do learn at this point that she has greater abilities than her mom did.
Yes. She also has these abilities that supposedly are blessed from this statue.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing they can figure out.
Which is the only thing they can figure out, which was a monk. And so this is when shit starts to get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at your notes. What do you have?
Oh, I was just gonna say, they're doing all of this and learning all of this, and poor Yoshino.
Oh, Yoshino's the one doing all of this research, and Asaka was like, give me an answer now!
Yoshino finds the theater troupe, finds that there are a few members still alive who remember Sadako, who call her an eerie lady, and he sees a picture of her, and he's like, they should be remembering her as this beautiful, young, amazing woman, and instead they're calling her an eerie girl. What's wrong with these people?
Mm-hmm.
He learns about this whole situation, about how she's a little weird and didn't really connect with anyone, and how she was staring at a blank TV that was definitely flickering on, but then the TV was unplugged, and that was weird, and then she left.
Yeah.
After a year.
Well, yeah.
After the...
I would say there is a specific... Yoshino is able to talk to one of the OG members.
Who remembers her.
Who remembers her. He was one of the founders of the group. And he says that he remembers specifically the day before she left, one of their other guys, one of the other founders, was like obsessing over her. It was like, oh my god, she's beautiful, like yada yada yada. Granted, mind you, I don't really know, right? But we can assume that this guy is older if he's forming a theater group. She's 18. Mm-hmm. She's left. So I just want to point that out. But anyways, he's beautiful, and he was gonna go try and meet up with her later.
Go to her apartment. I think they even say, like, storm her apartment or something. They use language that I was not okay with about this. And he gets shit-faced. The guy telling the story says, none of us believed him. Like, what was going to happen? And then the next day, Sadako was gone, and he was not... Dead. He was dead?
He was dead.
I thought he was just, like, got really weird.
No, he died. He was gone, and he had a heart attack at the troupe.
Oh, that's right. He died.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I will say so. I had thoughts about this because I was like, you're a fucking idiot. And then now I'm like, no, I'm the idiot. So, because they're going over the images again, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, who's that guy? And I was like, obviously it's the fucking guy, the creeper from the troupe that was like gonna get, I was like, he probably did fucking like sneak to her apartment and do whatever, like, but now that we're here, I'm assuming either she, I don't know what happened, but I thought it was gonna be him, but no, he died. She wrought vengeance upon him already, and then she left.
Yes. And we get a whole thing because not Yasukawa. Ryuji is like, oh, why are we going chronologically? We could just work our way backwards.
Yeah, he's like, they're like, well, what happens next? And Ryuji's like, why the fuck do we why do we care about what happens next? We care about what happens at the end, because that's where we're at, and we're trying to work our way barely backwards.
So let's stop working forwards and work our way from the end. And so they're like, why was it B4? What was there? And so Yoshino now has to figure out that there used to be a sanatorium on the grounds of where this resort is now.
For the tuberculosis outbreak.
Yes, and there was a doctor there.
And the smallpox.
Yes, but it wasn't supposed to be.
Wasn't supposed to be.
So it was a sanatorium. It's where everyone sent their tuberculosis people to live out the rest of their days in like a mountain climate where it was like fresh air was how you helped with tuberculosis before we understood what it was. So there's this doctor there that worked there, and Sadako's dad ends up getting tuberculosis, and he's a patient there, and Yoshino finds out he's still a practicing doctor, and he gives all of this information to Asakawa and Ryuji, and gives them detailed plans of where the sanatorium used to be and now where the resort stands, and gives them all of this information, and this man gets no credit.
No credit. Zero. None.
I guess, like, at least he doesn't die, because he was like, I'm not watching that tape.
I know. Asuka was like, you could watch it, and Yoshino's like, no thank you. I have a wife and kids.
I don't want to participate in whatever this is.
Whatever the fuck shenanigans you guys are up to, I don't want to be a part of. Just keep me out of it. And then Asuka was like, you don't want to watch it? Fine, do my research for me.
Pretty much.
Because I'm having a panic attack every 5 minutes and can't get my shit together. Even though I know the life of my wife and child are on the line, I need Ryuji and Yoshino to do it for me.
And that all happens between Tuesday and Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're on Friday, where they're traveling back to the mainland to go visit Dr. Nagano?
I don't remember his name. Dr. Fuckwad.
Dr. Fuckface. And this is where Ryuji, like, his whole thing kind of changes. He walks into that doctor's office, and Asukawa obviously hangs back, and Ryuji goes up and is like, hey, like, is the doc in, talking to this middle-aged nurse and blah, blah, blah. And he raises his voice to get the doctor to come out from behind it, like, to cause a little bit of a ruckus. Mm-hmm. And then he gets up in the doctor's face and is like, we know what you fucking did, so you're gonna fucking talk to us. And the doctor goes pale. It takes him a moment to understand what he says. He sends the nurse out, and then they walk him into his own examination room and are like, fucking talk. And you get the doctor's monologue where he's like, if they already know what happened, why
are they asking me questions?
Mm-hmm. And so what we learn is that the guy in the video is Dr. Nagano,
and they recognize him immediately. Yeah. That's why they're like, we know who you are and we know what you did, because they recognize him from the video.
Yeah, they're like, he's a little older and I think bald now, but same dude. And so Ryuji, because the doctor isn't really believing them still until Ryuji's like, what about the scar on your shoulder from where you were bit? So, talk. And the doctor's scrambling, being like, these kids are too young to know, how do they know? And so anyways, he spills his guts. He thought Sadako was really pretty, as everyone keeps saying. She was a very beautiful woman. And he takes the initiative to walk around with her during a very hot summer day and go to a secluded area and take his shirt off because it's just really, really hot. And then he's like, and then I lost all sense of self and I couldn't control myself for what happened
because
next.
He showed her to a well and she leaned over to look at it, and her
beautiful, perfect, milky white breasts
just like caused him to lose control.
And he's not responsible for anything that happens next because he just lost it.
He found out he has smallpox and the fever just took away his senses. So anyways, he ends up fucking raping her.
And she bites his
and she
shoulder.
bites the shit out of him.
And so one of the scene of him in the blood is her being raped and him getting his shoulder bitten into.
Yeah, and him losing sense after that. He turns ragey and kills her.
Beats her up, throws her in the well, then throws a bunch of dirt and rocks, and then is like, oh, her poor beautiful body is getting crushed by rocks.
I couldn't listen to the rocks hitting her perfect body knowing it was destroying it.
And Ryuji is like so mad.
Yeah, he's pissed.
He's losing his way of showing anger is less like the outright rage. It's the quiet determination where he's like, come again. Mm-hmm. Fucking what did you do? And you're just like, this is ironic.
It's so ironic. The whole time I was like, wow, this is really ironic.
He's so mad. And you
so
are like one of these, you're a fucking rapist.
Yeah. You are him, and he is you.
And you're so mad at him
you're
for
mad
this.
at him.
So, the well is somewhere around the cabins, is what they've decided by showing the maps to the doctor. He's like, yeah, the well was probably somewhere right around here. So now they have to go back to the cabins. Which takes us to Thursday. Mm-hmm. And they check into the cabins.
They do. They rent B4 again.
Again. They get lunch. Ryuji's on a mission now. Asakawa, go get lunch. We're gonna eat. We're gonna dig. They stop at a hardware store and he gets a shovel, he gets rope, he gets a pulley system, he gets a bucket. He's like, everything they need. While Asakawa calls his wife and daughter and is like, hey,
I'm gonna take you out on Sunday.
We're gonna go driving. And she's like, really? Do you hear that, Yoko? Dad's gonna take us on a drive on Sunday. And like, again, it's the 90s and like you just cruise.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing you did, and he's taking them somewhere. Is like Mykono or something.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
Nikon? I don't know. I can picture the word, like the first part of the word in my head, but I didn't write it down. And she's like, so does everything settled? And he's like, yeah, it will be.
It will be. Probably.
And he sucks.
Yeah.
Like he can't even, he loses it.
I'd say he does. Like there's a small moment after that phone call where you're like, oh, he's getting it together. He's searching. He's going about it. And then
he's cutting grass. He's trying to figure out where like the well would be.
He's like, if a well got covered, it would need to have it would have rocks. It would be a mountain of rocks. There would be dirt covering it. There would be something. And he's like finally using his brain to like logic his way through. But then it gets hard. He does it for like an hour and he gets hot and he gets sweaty and he's like, oh, this is too hard. I can't find it. And then he takes a fucking nap.
Ryuji comes over and pushes him over and says, just stop.
Yeah.
You're losing it. Just lay down for a second. And
he's like, chill. Just take a deep breath and chill. And then like Ryuji leaves and comes back and he's like, that's too chill. You're napping. You're napping.
And he's like, get your ass over here.
I found it.
He found the well under the porch of the cabin. Mm-hmm. Because what we found out is the cabin, yes, they were renovated on the outside, but anything that people didn't have to see, cheapest material ever. Mm-hmm. He's able to break boards by just pulling on them with his hands. But Ryuji is like a buff guy.
He's strong.
He can, what did he say? He can bench press 150 kilos. Which
I have no idea what that equates to.
You got me. I think 2.2 kilos is a pound.
Damn! That's like a lot.
So I think it's a lot.
That's like impossible. That's like world record breaking bullshit.
It's either 2.2 kilos is a pound or 2.2 pounds is a kilo. I'm not sure which.
I gotta find out because those are two very different answers.
Yes. Look, it's been a hot second since I've had to do conversions.
What, are we doing 150 kilos?
Yeah.
Damn, that is like world record. Shit. Ryuji's ripped.
How much is that?
330 pounds. Bench press world record.
That can't be right. That has to be a translation error, no?
The world record is... Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. The world record is 782 pounds, which is ridiculous.
But no, that's like my dad.
Yeah, he's big.
He's built, like, this professor is built.
He built like a truck. Damn.
Now I'm just picturing him in, like, a really tight suit that doesn't fit proper, because all of his muscles are too big.
I imagined him as very short, though, so...
I was picturing him taller than Asakawa, but, like, leaner.
Yeah.
Because in my head, Asakawa is, like, a chubby, middle-aged man.
I mean, he's just like a dude, yeah.
Yeah, and not even... like middle age. I think he's probably like 35.
He's 30 something, yeah.
Yeah. And so in my head, Ryuji's just younger and like built, but they're the same age.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. And then Asukawa always talks about like needing his glasses too, which is just like another thing. He's like, I can't see, where are my glasses? And, like shoves his watch right up into his eyeballs to see.
I guess like they do talk about like Ryuji was like
He was a track star.
he was shot put.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was shot putter. Like he did track, but he was a shot putter. So that makes sense.
Those guys are built.
Yeah, they are.
Don't smile like that. You also did shot put, no?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you can be built like that. That'd be fine.
A lot of them have the guts.
Hmm.
It's all arms, no abs.
So is what's this fuck from God of War?
Mm-hmm.
You'll get real, actual like
Muscles.
muscle people. They got
Mhm.
bellies.
Mm-hmm.
Abs aren't useful.
Nope.
It's not utility muscle.
Nope.
So what's the term?
They're aesthetic.
Aesthetic. I was thinking of the other one. It's fine. I lost it.
Anyways, Ryuji's built.
Ryuji's built as fuck.
Damn.
And so they find the well, and it's got a concrete lid on top of it. And Asukawa makes a point to be like, even someone as built as Ryuji, or with this, because it's an incline, so they get under the house at the
highest point.
the highest point, and then they lose it, and they start having to crawl at the end where the well is. And so even someone as built as Ryuji, if he doesn't have the right leverage, can't push this off by himself. And you're just like, okay, man crush Monday,
Yeah,
got
literally.
it. And so between the two of them, they're able to get it off and peer inside, and it's just water. And this whole time, Asukawa starts panicking, and he later in a little bit says he's claustrophobic, and you don't believe him. I didn't believe him. I'm like, you're just trying to get out of this until later, and you're like, oh, you actually are
You're claustrophobic. Oh shit.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I was like, damn. I was like, God, what a fucking bitch. And I was like, oh shit, no, sorry. You're actually
claustrophobic, and just now finding out you're claustrophobic.
My bad, dog. He's like, by the way, I'm claustrophobic, and I'm realizing that right now. And you're like, oh God, whatever. And it's like, oh no, you really are. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and Ryuji being just him is like, all right, hold the rope, I'm getting in. And he just plops down, and he shovels out water and soot up into the bucket.
They have a bucket that they're using to take out the extra stuff.
That's what the pulley and rope system was for, so they can do that. And so it's Asukawa's job to pull up the bucket and dump it and drop it back down for Ryuji. And then they're at this for a hot second. We don't know how long they're at it, but they're at it long enough that Asukawa loses all upper body strength and drops the bucket, almost hitting Ryuji.
I say he's dropped it like 3 times before Ryuji's like, all right, fuck it, switch. I'm like, you keep fucking dropping this bucket. It's almost hitting me. And at the very least, it's splashing the shit all over me.
And it's just we have to do it twice. It's doing double work.
Yeah.
And so between the two jobs, shoveling, and then it's a 5-meter well?
Mm-hmm.
4 to 5 meters or something like that. And pulling it straight vertical, which job is easier? He's like, you're getting in the well. And then he forces Asukawa into the well, who is not happy about it. And this is where you learn, oh, he's actually claustrophobic.
He has a panic attack. He's like, oh my God, I'm down here with the bones.
And then he has this whole image of the rocks turning into like demon faces.
Yeah, and they're like, and closing in on him. And then he pees his pants, and then it made me laugh, but it was really horrible. But maybe he's like, oh my God, I just peed on the bones.
Oh, poor beautiful Sadako is now covered in my piss.
It just reminded me of, like, I don't know if you've seen it, Due Date.
I've not.
It's a comedy, but it's got Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but and Robert Downey Jr. gets stabbed, and Zach's like trying to like clean it up with the bandage, and he throws up, and he's like, "Oh my God, Peter, I threw up on the wound." And that's just reminding me of him. He's like, he's down here. He's like, oh my God, I just pissed on the bones. I'm sorry, Sadako. He's all, I know you already are trying to kill me, but I'm sorry.
And Ryuji's up at the top being like, hey, fucking get to, like, snap out of it, breathe. He's not being an asshole. He's literally like, breathe. You've got this.
You can get through this.
You can do it. And, goodness. Asukawa has this whole thing of, oh my God, this is how Sadako felt when she was down here. This is what she saw before she died.
Mm-hmm.
And he digs through the soot, and he ends up pulling up a nice, smooth rock.
With 2 holes in it.
And then pulls it up, and then it's her skull that then morphs into like her decapitated head, and he's staring into her wide, beautiful eyes and just hugs it to his chest and then passes out.
Yep.
We learn that in the next chapter because it's a chapter break where he wakes up in bed and to the phone ringing of the manager of the resort being like, checkout was at 11. Are you guys staying another night? Because what the hell's going on? He wakes up, he sees Ryuji and is like, this is not my bed. Why are you here? And it takes him a good handful of minutes to understand what just happened. And then he sees a white plastic bag full of Sadako's bones. The water is trickling because Ryuji pulled him out of the well, got him into the house, cleaned off her bones, got everything situated before this man promptly passed it out. Passed it out as well.
Passed it out.
Passed it out.
And, like, what's crazy is that we're not even sure, like, if Ryuji believes this whole time. I don't know if Ryuji actually believes it, but now especially he's like, you lived, because at that point right before Asakawa passes out, Ryuji's like, hey, it's past your time,
it's
right?
10:10. Yours was 10:04.
Yeah, like you
lived.
You lived. And so I don't even know if Ryuji believes this tape at this point. Like, I'm not 100% sold that he does, but he's still doing these things. And whether that's out of a love for Asakawa or a need to do some type of anything for this girl, of like, she needs to be laid to rest and deserves to not be in a well, I don't know, and we'll never know.
So in my opinion, and maybe we do know in the other books, right?
Maybe,
who knows if we get any resolution to Ryuji's history, right? And I believe we do, because someone in Reddit spoiled it a little bit about talking about Ryuji's past. So maybe there is some more information. I'm unclear about it. I think at the start, it was him just being like, what we learn later is that Ryuji calls Asakawa his best friend. So he's like, my best friend needs me, and I know he's a little bitch. So I'm going to do everything I can to ease his worries or help him. And then it gets to the point, I think, where when he met the doctor, where he was like, no, we're fucking doing this for Sadako. And that's when it switched from, whatever is whatever, I'm just helping a friend, to she deserves to not be in the well. I think it's both.
Yeah, it is very much of like, he did this by himself, which is crazy, and he just kept going, like, that need to fulfill this. But then the part that gets me is I don't know, there's a lot that I just don't know, because then they decide that the thing that needs to happen is Sadako needs to be laid to rest.
Yes, and Asakawa believes it needs to be done by a family member who knew her, so he's gonna take the bones back to Oshima, and Ryuji's like, peace, I got work to do. I have to go back to Tokyo.
Yeah, like, I have a job that needs me, so... And that's the part where I'm like, I don't know, because he didn't go back with, where it was like, no, we have to do this because, like, I want her to be laid to rest, but, like, also, I guess, like, he did his part.
And that's what he says, is like, it doesn't take both of us to go deliver bones back. Like, you are fully capable of doing this. And the whole time, Asuka was like, no, I'm not. What if they say no? What if they don't believe me that it's her bones? What am I going to say to them?
Yeah.
Which doesn't end up happening. They go their separate ways, and he gets back to Oshima, hands the bones over, because they removed it from the sack, by the way. They got like a nice black cloth.
It's not just in a fucking Safeway grocery bag. It's in they get a nice cloth and wrap her up in it and deliver it back to cousin and family,
who looks at the bones and bows and says, like, thank you. And Asuka was like, you sure? And he's like, it's Sadako. And both of, like, Asakawa comes to the realization that they, like how we did, he also has the feeling that they just know it's her.
Yeah.
And so he takes the bones and he's like, okay, bye, don't ask me any questions, and books away. He makes it home where he's gonna finish up his story.
Well, he's staying in because he
goes back to the inn, that's right.
He's at an inn. Yeah,
I think he goes back to the inn.
They call it the bureau.
What?
The quote unquote the bureau.
Yeah, he goes back to the inn he was staying at before.
With not with the doctor, with where they were staying at when they first came here, with the reporter guy. Haya, whatever his name is. So he's staying there on the island. He's typing up his story. having a good time, thinking about Ryuji, thinking about his buddy, about all the things that he did for him, thinking about how happy he is that this is over.
Weird that he hasn't heard from him.
Weird that he hasn't heard from him.
And then he's like, why would I think that's weird?
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna type up some more, and then I'm gonna take the girls out, and we're gonna go on our drive, and it's gonna be a good time. And then
he falls asleep.
And
then we get Ryuji, who has also fallen asleep. What is with my words today? Has also fallen asleep grading papers.
Yes.
And so he wakes up and he's like, from a nightmare, and he's like, I haven't had a visceral nightmare like that in a hot second. And he looks at the time and it's 9:40, and then he can't place why that time is important, and he's just feeling this oppressive force, and he's like, oh fuck, it's not over.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it over? Like, Asakawa lived, why aren't I living? And he the way they describe because Ryuji's about to die, my guy,
mm-hmm.
is the insane. Like, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
The description of Ryuji dying, of this oppressive nature that he doesn't want to confront. He's not turning around to look at it. He doesn't want to know what it is. He knows it's Sadako. He pulls out the tape and he's like, why? What was different? What did he do that I didn't do? And he looks at the tape and it's a recording
mm-hmm.
it's the recorded tape from Asakawa. He's like, oh fuck, I know what it is. And instead of calling Asakawa, he calls Mai.
I'd say he does kind of have that moment of like, I could call Asakawa and I can try to explain, and he's like, but I'm dying, and the thing that I want to hear the most is the person I love.
And so he calls, I think it's Mai, M-A-I,
yeah.
Who doesn't answer at first, and then finally answers when he has his blood-curdling scream that he can no longer keep in, and she listens as he is murdered.
Yeah.
And then we get her POV, where she's like, she's gotten weird, like, harassment calls before, and that didn't sound right, and she gets this inkling to call her professor, and they don't have caller ID yet. And so she calls him back, and the line's busy, and she calls again, and it's busy, and it's busy, and it's busy, until she finally goes over, and she ends up finding his body.
Yep. And then we cut to Asakawa, who's woken up, and is like, I wonder what Ryuji's up to right now.
So he calls him, and
Mai answers. So he rushes, she explains that he's dead and that he died last night around whatever time and blah, blah, blah. So he rushes over to go see her. Mm-hmm.
So he rushes back to the mainland, blah, blah, blah. And she explains how he died, that he was over there, heart failure, all of the things, the exact time.
Yeah.
He died because of the charm. She then is like, she pretty much says, he was your best friend and you didn't know him very well. I don't know what you thought of us, but we weren't lovers. As far as I know, he's never known a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And says that his personality, depending on who he was with so different. With her, he was very childlike and just very open and free. And then as soon as there was like another man in the room, he became the gentleman. And like with you, he played the scoundrel, didn't he? And so Asakawa has his entire image of Ryuji just
fucking shatters.
Because he's like, do I believe what he told me, or do I believe this person who's saying, like, a woman's intuition? Like, why would she willingly hang out with a man if he wasn't comfortable to be around?
I would say, first of all, a woman's intuition, but second of all, supposedly the person that knew him the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he's just like,
yeah, he was my best friend too.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
And then he goes home, and he's like,
well, because there was a textbook. There was a textbook that's what Ryuji managed, was a textbook.
What does that have to do with anything right now?
Because that's how Asakawa figures it out.
Yeah, but he goes home and he panics.
Yeah.
He goes home and panics because
he's not home yet. He's driving because he has to worry about making it home and then making it to Shizu in time.
He goes back home first. Because the textbook is in his office. He goes home and freaks the fuck.
No, he's at his office. His work office.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. But I know he doesn't go home because I specifically remember him saying, I have to make it home, get the video, get another VHS, and then make it to my in-laws' place in time.
Wherever he is, he freaks out because he thinks that it takes two people to do the charm, because why else would Ryuji call Mai?
Mhm.
And so he freaks out thinking there's two things, and it takes him so long that he ends up screaming at Ryuji's ghost, who's not physically there, just screaming at Ryuji for a long time, and then he like falls on the floor and is being he's having a temper tantrum, and then he sees Ryuji's ghost, who gives him the image in his brain of the textbook of epidemics in man.
That's right.
And then gives him the page number, because he can't even do that because it's a 300-page book of 191 of viruses need to reproduce. And so the whole time they were trying to figure out why, we never said what the old woman said. The old woman said, next year you will have a baby.
Oh, you'll have a baby.
And what we've also not talked about this entire time, and why I said I thought the baby was Sadako, is that Sadako is intersex. And so also has testes, male testicles.
Is incapable of having a child.
Cannot carry a child.
Yes.
And I'm glad we're going to skip over the kind of like anti-trans rhetoric in there, because
there's a lot of...
It's
a very sexist book.
Yes, and so they have a whole thing about it, but it is what it is. And so the baby that Sadako was gonna have is the videotape, and it is a virus. So he wasn't an idiot at the beginning. It's just not the virus he expected.
Yeah.
What he ends up finding out is that he lived because he copied the tape and showed it to someone else. So it infected someone else. So it skips over him. He's a carrier now instead of whatever the other thing is. And so he's like, oh, I gotta go get my wife and daughter, and we're gonna show it to my in-laws. Because that's the best option, is to show it to the in-laws. We're gonna copy tapes and show the in-laws.
Well, yeah, I say in his brain, and I will say, like, this is where I love the survival of, like, it turns into we're gonna show it to my in-laws, and that gives us another week, because right now I have hours. I have 4 hours. I have to get to my house. I have to get it. I have to record it. Like, she has to record it and has to show it to somebody. And she's at her parents' house. So we'll show it to her parents. And then that gives us another week. And
you
then
think I thought he was just going to let him die.
No, he talks about, like, that gives us
how
another
it's gonna
week.
Spread.
And then he's like, and then we'll find somebody else to spread it to. And he's like, I'm going to be the harbinger of a deadly virus. And what is that going to look like? And he's like, I don't care. At the moment, I don't care.
He goes through the gambit of being like, that's 2 tapes from my wife and daughter that then get spread, and goes through how viruses spread because of splitting it, and then says how long is it going to take for Japan and then the world, and then the game of telephone of how it's going to change from, oh, you only have X amount of time, or you have to show 2 people and you have to do 2 tapes, and just how it's going to change, and that he could stop it. He could just let his wife and daughter die and it would end with him. And then in his head, he's like, but no, I hear Ryuji's voice who's saying, this is just another trial for man. You got to protect what you love, blah, blah, blah. And the book ends with him driving off to his wife and daughter.
And him going, yeah, I'm going to make it in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff in there. The idea of, I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
I do. So I did not like this book the first time I read it. I told you that. I read it and I was like, I'm only reading this because I liked the movie. And I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the slow burn of it. I agreed with more of the changes of the movies because I felt like the tension building, it's really hard to write a book about watching a tape. Reading it a second time, I liked it a lot more. And going in with not hating Ryuji and more believing Mai that he wasn't a rapist and he's just posturing.
That is like, and whether it comes down to like what you find out at the end of the book, and this is the part that I enjoyed. I probably read into a lot of things that probably had nothing to do with this book in general. Like,
that's what we do here.
But that's what we do here. And so I really liked this idea of, like, because we have Asakawa, right? And it's like your stereotypical nerd, right? Your media like style nerd, no friends, by himself, like,
hates their wife and kid,
just a very solo introverted person that is only focused on one thing ever, and that is his job right now, right? Like, that's all he cares about. And then you have like And that's just a very lonely like lifestyle that it is betrayed by him. Like he has a wife and kid, but obviously they're not very close, and nobody else that he talks about, because like we say at the beginning of the book, there's nobody else that he would bring here. There's nobody that he wants to hang out with,
Yeah.
for even a night.
Yeah.
And then we have Ryuji, who you see as, like, from Asakawa's point of view, is like this popular guy. He knows all these people, and like he doesn't care about anything.
He's got a great
He's
job.
he's got a great job.
This beautiful young lady who hangs around him.
Yeah, but like even when they're in high school, you know, like he was popular. He talked a lot. He barely showed up and still got the best grades. Like
until he thinks back on it, and then he's like, but he didn't have any close friends.
But then, yeah, and then he looks back and he's like, Ryuji didn't have any friends either. And so it's like this difference between the type of lonely that you have, and like you have the guy who isolates himself intentionally, and the one who, both are intentional, but one is like I'm not around anybody ever, and I'm surrounded by people but I still have nobody, and they somehow find each other. And I personally feel like, just based off of this, right, in my brain, based off of the type of person that Ryuji is, that we find out about, that was a test
to see.
He's like, what kind of person are you? Who are you? Like, and I'm not saying that maybe he didn't, like, maybe he wasn't creepy. Like, there is very specific, right? He knew exactly the girl that he was talking about. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that maybe he didn't, like, creep. Maybe he wasn't a pervert. Like, I'm sure he wasn't, like, a super great person, because a fucking, that takes a fucking weirdo to do, like, to say something like that and to do shit like that. But that is, like, that is very bonding in a way, right? Like, yeah. I did something very bad and you didn't tell anybody about it. So now this is our secret. Mm-hmm. And that kind of feels like a forced bond. And I wonder how much of that, sadly, maybe not sadly, because it ended up them being friends, but I wonder how much of that was one, Ryuji running an experiment on Asakawa, but then also being like, so like, who are you? You know? What was it going to be? How's it going to be? And then just kept that going as like a, how bonded are we? How far are you willing to go for me? You know?
Yeah.
Every often I'm telling you I'm doing something else and you still haven't said anything. How far are you willing to go? Especially once we get like that posturing idea at the end, like you said, of like Mai being like, no, whoever he was with, it was different. And like he became the scoundrel for you. And I want to know. I do want to know why. I would like to look into that further, maybe. Probably not. I'm not going to. But, like, I think it's fun that, like, Ryuji decided to be the scoundrel for Asakawa.
Yeah, it's the chameleon thing, right? Mm-hmm. He understood what people wanted from him. So his track friends, he was the big track boy. And then in school, he was the grade A student and all of those kinds of things. And for Asakawa, he turned into the bigger than life guy.
Yeah.
The guy who can do whatever and gets away with it, can say whatever, and is just so comfortable in his existence that nothing else matters. Not even death scares him. And that's what, right, Asakawa wanted. He wanted to be that type of person, and Ryuji presented him with that lifestyle, and Asakawa didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was very interesting. The only thing that keeps me on about it, and I don't know if it's because he kept that front up around Asakawa, that Shizu was like, ew, don't bring him in here. But that we have two very different, and I'm a big proponent of like, you know,
intuition,
feminine intuition when it comes to like predator style. And so like, the fact that we have Mai, who is like, and calls him professor. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming as a student.
At the college, yeah.
At the college. But somehow close enough to have, like, not a sexual relationship with, but at least some type of relationship.
I was thinking like a TA, because the whole time she's at his apartment, she's like, I have to get all of his paperwork in order.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it does seem like a TA. And so, like, you think, like, he obviously harbored feelings for her.
Mm-hmm. And didn't act on them.
But didn't act on them. And so it's a matter of, this is where it gets kind of like, to play devil's advocate to my own point. Do we get this this is how he treats somebody he loves versus how he treats everybody else because he doesn't care about anybody else? Or are we just getting he's posturing up for Asakawa so Shizu gets that version of him too, which is a predator. Like at life, like he's just taking whatever the fuck he wants and not saying anything about it. And for Mai, he was a child. She compared him to a 10-year-old. He's a 10-year-old boy when he's with me. He's just free and vulnerable and whatever. And so I wonder how much of that is because of just the dynamics between the relationships, or how much of it is just that posturing of chameleoning between people.
I don't know. And because we don't have the other books, I don't know. And Ryuji's dead. I don't know if we get anything else about him ever.
I know.
Asakawa's alive. I don't know if the story continues with Asakawa or not.
I don't know.
But yeah, thanks for any final thoughts here. Thanks for participating in this book.
I have so many thoughts. There's just so many things throughout this.
Oh, the ring.
The ring. Yeah, no,
it's the virus ring.
Yeah.
It's the ring of people and how it expands.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say is like that's what I was like, oh, it's like a circle. I was like, first of all, it's a circle like around because we start off with this virus and the tuberculosis that she caught, or the smallpox that she caught because what's his fuck was carrying it. And like all of that shit, and I was like, oh, so it's like full circle. But then we also get to the point of like expanding the virus.
That's why it's the ring.
It's the ring. Yeah. And I will like it's just honestly like the imagery I think is my favorite part of this book. The actual story itself is great, but the thing that I think I really enjoyed about it was the imagery. Like the I know we were just talking shit about like the wording and the descriptions and stuff. I do think it was.
I think it's due to poor translation, though. I don't think it's due to the actual writing.
I do too, but there is like the ideas that are set upon, like the imagery, you know, like this idea of like, do I like how it was written? No, but do I like the idea that's there of like, oh, we are getting these translated scenes onto the screen because of this, like that light at the end, because the last thing she saw, she was still alive, which shows you that she was like, we wouldn't have known that without this video, but we know she was still alive when she was thrown in the well because we see it on the video. We see that final light of circle before it's like, hey, do this thing, right? And it's just like all this I don't know, it's good imagery.
I think the book is better than the American movie. I think I enjoyed it more. The American movie had a lot of things where, for this we have Ryuji, who pushes stuff forward, who everything makes sense with. In the movie, we have her son, who for some reason can, like, Sadako shows him things. And you don't know why. Because he knows these things before he watches the tape. And also, she's a shitty mom.
Yeah. I wonder if it has anything to do with, they made that connection because they do say that Sadako loved her little brother. And that, like...
Yeah, but in the American remake, her name isn't Sadako. Her name's Samara. And then she's like a child.
Oh.
She's like 14 or something, like 10 to 14. She's like a preteen in the American remake.
Interesting.
So they take out that whole child and sibling aspect of it all.
Interesting.
And her mom is the one who kills her in the movie.
That's right. I do remember that part.
Yeah, her mom is like...
Wow, they really changed up a lot of things. Well, I'm wondering... No, never mind. What I was going to say is I wonder if this was like somehow like their version of a continuation of like, oh, the tape made it to the States. And so
that would have been better. That would have been so much better. But no, they fanficked it.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, this Ring movie, pretty cool. What if we did it, like, in American lens? And then what I was saying about, like, having Japanese undertones is her name is Samara. There's a Japanese maple leaf tree that the fruit is, like, called a Samara. And then in the files, instead of a sanatorium, it's a psychiatric facility. And there's Japanese writing in there, and it's heavily implied they went to Japan to get pregnant because the mom couldn't get pregnant. So it's a totally different storyline. I can't even, like... the only thing that is the same is that there's a VHS tape that you have to copy and show other people to survive.
And the well.
In the well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're gonna cover the Japanese original movie eventually. It is on our list of things we want to do. But yeah, thanks for coming to this month's book club. Hopefully next month it'll actually be live and
We can have more books club style.
Yes, which was the plan, is to ask questions in chat and, talk about different aspects of the book and those kinds of things. Next month, we're covering The Shining.
Red rum.
Yes, you do that so well.
Thanks.
So we'll be doing that at the end of the month. We are also going to be doing another Resident Evil Requiem stream next month as well, so look out for that. We'll announce that obviously on the main episode. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you read the book, what was your thoughts? If you want to read the book, let us know what you think.
Rated R. So if you guys have any questions, if you want your kiddos to read it. It has some pretty heavy themes.
Obviously, if you didn't listen to everything we said in this fucking video.
Yeah. It's an adult read, just so you know.
We usually end the normal podcast episodes with, like, if we recommend it, and then if you want to add it to the list of movies. Do you recommend reading this book?
I would recommend reading this book. I think it is an interesting... It's not like... As someone, like I said, this is my first like adult read horror, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's something that I like had to read. Like, I did have to kind of force myself to read parts of it.
It's a very slow burn at the start. It takes a while. It took me a hot second to get into it.
But I think if it's something that's already on your radar, definitely pick it up.
Yeah. All right. So that's our take on The Ring.
Yeah. Until next time.
Oh my god.